It's Mitch Holtis. Tune in every Friday morning at 7:30 as I sit down with Bob and Josh to look ahead at the weekend in the Chiefs Kingdom. 7:30 Fridays on Fesco in the Morning, right here on 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome to Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio. On today's show, the Jags on another trip to Kansas City. The Chargers take charging to a whole new low, and Alex gets blasted and maybe starts a bar fight. Now, two guys who are also buying one-way tickets to Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl. Cody Tapp and Alex Gold.
Look, if someone's to pay you $5 million or $15 million to go away, not seen for months,
see you later.
I'm in as well. Of course, Kliff Kingsbury. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Kliff is out of Arizona, and he said, "You know what? Just I'm going to go to Thailand for undetermined amount of time."
I like that it was in the middle of a bunch of teams calling him, being like, "Hey, are you interested in being our offensive coordinator?" He's like, "Nope, bought a one-way ticket to Thailand."
Exactly.
See you, Luke. Look, I got places to be.
Exactly.
Well, honestly, it's the best thing you can do if you're a coach. If we haven't learned this lesson by now, we never will. Go away. You go away, teams are going to be like, hey, remember that guy? He wasn't half bad. Now, going on TV is the best thing you can do because for some reason, NFL teams, NBA teams, works in every sport. If you just talk about the sport that you used to coach for like 1 month, they're going to be like, hey, this guy kind of knows football.
It's just staying relevant, right? They're always worth making sure they're staying relevant in their names in the conversation.
Funny. It's so funny. Like John Gruden goes on Monday Night Football, and all of a sudden owners are like, you know what? He seems to know a little bit about this sport. Like, no kidding.
You think?
The worst coach ever could go on TV, and they'd be like, oh, well, this guy might be all right.
Jeff Saturday got a job he didn't even have to coach before. like this guy kind of gets it.
Like, yeah, you remember
football knowledge.
Remember that
funny.
football
Play
player
it for like 20 years.
It will be funny real quick when like Jeff Saturday ends up back on NFL Live because that's where it's probably going to end up.
He'll probably get a raise too,
and he'll probably get a raise. But he ends up back there when if he's critical of any coaches, it'll just be really like, how can I take you all that seriously? Either way, now well now he has coaching
now
experience.
I've got a job. It is very hard. But
no, I want him to criticize a coaching hire. That would be funny.
I'd be like, he doesn't have the experience necessary to be like, I don't think those are the words I'd use.
I don't know what the Raiders are thinking hiring Louis Riddick. I love Louis Riddick as a guy, but he just doesn't have the experience necessary to complete this job.
You know, as long as I did. So, what are you going to do?
Everybody at the table is just staring at him like,
So awkward.
we going to do this now, Jeff?
Really?
So wait, we don't think that the Colts are retaining Jeff Saturday?
No.
I don't know. No. I still feel like
They're
there's like a 30% chance.
They're definitely interviewing 3 or 4 other candidates already.
Their owner's weird.
They did win that one game, though, guys.
They did. Against
The
Josh
Las
McDaniels.
Vegas Raiders.
His one win against Josh McDaniels. So, I mean, we'll get to the Chargers because you've both, like, whether it's the Raiders, whether it's the Chargers, it's a good day. It's a good day for other teams in the AFC West, or particular one team in the AFC West, I should say. If you're not the Broncos or the Raiders or the Chargers, it's a good day. We know the opponent for Kansas City, of course, coming up on Saturday afternoon, 3:30 at Arrowhead. It's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Watching them play to the Chargers. We'll get to the Chargers. Awful they were in one half of football. 4 interceptions for Trevor Lawrence. To seeing how they were able to come all the way back, and Trevor Lawrence was great in the second half. Do you feel differently about the Jags? Because out of all rather played the Jags than the Chargers.
Absolutely.
And that's even with the terrible coaching at the second half. But still, roster-wise, the Chargers have a better roster.
Unless you were going to give me Baltimore or Miami, in which we got a proper sweat, there was at least a possibility of either of those teams. Jacksonville was the next choice. It's not look, they were 3-7 after they lost to Kansas City in the regular season, and they rattled off, only losing one more time the rest of the way, winning the division and getting there. So clearly they're playing better football now than they were at their time against Kansas City. This is as good as they've looked at any particular point. The only reason where like maybe I'd go back a little bit and ask myself, what do we think about the Jags as a matchup is? The more I watch Herbert, I just don't know if he's clutch. And I'm pretty sure I know that about Trevor Lawrence. He threw 4 picks and it didn't rattle him. He just kept out there and kept firing. He scored a touchdown in every single drive in the second half. to eventually lead his team. So, yeah, they do scare me at least a little bit. And if you get to any team in the divisional round, especially with a really good young starting quarterback and a good head coach, yeah, I'd have some concern that they'll be there. But this was, of the options I thought possible, this was the best possible option. Because I thought that it was going to be between the Chargers and the Jacksonville, and the other game was going to be Cincinnati and Buffalo. And it pretty much went to seed, even though it was closer than we thought. So the initial matchup of the Jaguars, my thought is good. You could have done a lot worse in a divisional round matchup to maybe host an AFC title game.
And just, we know we'll have all week to talk about the Jags and the Chiefs in particular, but it was weird because they played each other, of course, already once this season, so it will be another rematch. We've had a ton of rematches in the postseason on the AFC side. I mean, obviously, Cincinnati Bengals technically isn't a rematch, but it's, well, Cincinnati and against Buffalo, I'm sorry, technically, I guess, is a rematch. It's
would have been a bigger rematch had the game actually been played. Yeah,
I would argue in a way it actually is bigger though because of the circumstances around it. But we know the Chiefs and Jags is a rematch, and the Chiefs turned the ball over 3 times in that game, and lost the turnover battle considerably, and they still won pretty comfortably. Yeah. And so I think, the Jags are probably playing a lot better football. The Chiefs, I think I would argue, are playing a lot better football than they were at that point in time as well. But there certainly could have been a more challenging opponent, I think, than the Chargers, and that's even with them blowing the lead. So doesn't mean that the Jags can't come into Arrowhead and win. Of course not. But the Chiefs are the biggest favorite for this entire weekend, too, by the way. Out of all the potential matchups for divisional round weekend, the Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites. Nobody's a bigger favorite coming into this weekend.
I think it's because you understand that the thing that feels good about the Jags is this still feels like the year 2 early team. It's not that I don't think that they have talent. It's not that I don't think they're well coached or have a really good quarterback. It's just, if you ask yourself, is this the Jags year, Gold? It's too soon.
That's exactly what we said before the Bengals game last year.
I don't remember that exact sentence.
I do. Don't make me go pull it, because I will.
Fine, go pull it.
I don't want to. I don't want to, though.
Okay. I just have to take your word instead. But it does feel, but also, Cincinnati was a better team last year than the Jags are now. Yeah, and the Jags are talented, but a combination of Zay Jones and Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram is not Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. There's still a talent discrepancy between those two.
They've been able to make up for that, though, because of the coaching, right? I mean, we've seen that, the transformation in 1 year. Not only the personnel, but Doug Peterson is one of the better coaches. We said
he's
that.
a really creative play caller.
Well, I mean, the fourth and one call to get ETN and essentially seal, put him in position to get the win, right? The huge gain on 4th and 1. Now, Doug Peterson, if you're talking about coaching discrepancy and potential matchups, yeah, this coaching matchup now is closer than what you would have had with other matchups because, of course, Brandon Staley's, we can get to him in a second, a disaster. But Doug Peterson, that's the part where you won't have the huge edge that maybe you would have had in that potential matchup. But yes, to your point about the playmakers, I mean, Jacksonville deserves everything credit they're getting today and will continue to get all week and heading into the game, and they have nothing to lose, and that works for you if you're the Jags. Like, there's no pressure on you to go in Arrowhead and win. The pressure's all on the Chiefs. We know that. Like, the Chiefs are expected to win this game. If you're the Jags, people were saying you were going to lose the game on Saturday. People are going to tell you you're going to lose the game on this Saturday. So they're able to play a little looser, I think, than anybody in football right now in the postseason.
The game might still be close. There's no doubt. If anything, this weekend taught us any of these games could be close. Skylar Thompson didn't even play all that well, and that game still came down to it because of the turnovers and the mistakes that can occur in the postseason that can make these games close. But it's, of all the teams, I mean, I think you gave a stat last week. If you are a 8.5-point favorite in the current playoff system with 7 teams, you win. That's it. You win. If you are favored by that amount, it might be close or it might be ugly, but you win, Gold. And I think that that's what stands out. The fact that even though the Giants, a team that only had 9 wins in the regular season, is less of a dog in their matchup against the number 1 seeded Philadelphia Eagles than you are against the Jags, tells me a lot about where people think this matchup is going to go. Again, I don't think it's just going to be some breeze and Kansas City gets to just roll in comfortably on Saturday afternoon and easily win a game against the Jags. But they're definitely the better team, the more established team. For a variety of reasons, they match up well with them. And I saw them not play a perfect game against Jags and still beat them comfortably. Now, offensively, they were great. The 3 turnovers you had mentioned, I went back and looked because I was curious. One was a YOLO interception by Mahomes. There was like 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and they were just trying to go down and score a touchdown. He threw a pick he didn't have to throw, but they were winning, and they were going to win, and that game was over. And it like opened the door slightly for a chance to do it. The other one was a Jody Fortson fumble on a kick return. Wouldn't have predicted that, but I guess on a ball they short kicked,
Like a squib kick or something. Yeah.
And then the final one was a Isaiah Pacheco fumble on like the 8-yard line. So they were getting ready to score another touchdown. The Chiefs had like 8 yards per play in that game. This seems like a favorable matchup. We would much rather it be them than the Chargers. Still, even though they blew that game, I would still much rather it be Jacksonville.
I think that's probably the majority opinion of Chiefs fans. Like, don't look past Jacksonville by any means, but also understanding. Look, I was watching the game on Saturday night at a bar, and everybody was cheering as the Jags were coming back. Like, everybody. That's exactly who everybody in Kansas City wanted to win that football game. Now, look, maybe everybody will regret that come Saturday afternoon. I don't think that'll be the case, but that's what's kind of fun about it. And we know Andy Reid, of course, and the Chiefs not having to deal with the close games, injury risk this past weekend, being able to sit at home and watch these games. There is that advantage coming off of a bye week in general, let alone if you're Andy Reid coming off of a bye week and his successful track record as well. I mean, that factors in. But man, oh man, those Chargers. Oh, was that great.
What a moment.
That was
How you feeling, Nick?
enjoyable.
Who did you, just as a quick reminder before we talk about this game, who did you pick to go to the AFC title game?
I believe I picked the Jaguars versus the Bills.
No, I think
If you remember the end of the show, don't make me pull it, because if you make me pull it,
I think there was a
I
quote
will.
On Friday's show from Nick that I just don't have Super Bowl vibes with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But I might have them with the Chargers. So I'm going to pick the Chargers to go to the AFC title.
No.
I think that's what he said.
That's actually not what was said. Okay, you putting words in my
picked
mouth.
the Chargers
I
to beat the
choose
Jags
my words very carefully.
and the Chargers to beat the Chiefs, and you picked the Chargers and Bills in the AFC title
I didn't say
game.
I did not say the Chargers had Super Bowl vibes. I said the Chiefs didn't. I said the did.
And you picked the Chargers to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, but that was rather inconsequential because then I later changed my pick to the Jaguars beating the Chiefs. So either way you slice and dice it, it was less about the Chargers and the Jags and more about the fact that, and I stand by this, Chiefs don't have Super Bowl vibes. And if you are not somebody who can respect picking based off vibes, then I don't think I can respect you.
Either way, what joy it must bring Chiefs fans to have to spend an entire season listening to the Chargers once again become the darling, only to them in the middle of the season become a bigger darling because they started playing good football late, only to watch them acquire a 27-0 lead on the back of 5 turnovers and still lose. How is it even possible? And I know this. The Chiefs lost a 28-point game in the playoffs once. But when you get Justin Herbert, like when you get the guy at quarterback, all that's so supposed to end. Honestly, I don't think he's going to be fired, but Staley should. Between week 18 and this is fireable. These are fireable offenses.
Nobody would sit here and be like, how could you fire the guy and be shocked by I don't believe the Chargers will move on from Brandon Staley. But, yeah, a month ago we were having a conversation, maybe 3 weeks conversation about they're not going to fire a guy that if he goes to the playoffs with 11 wins, even if he loses to Jacksonville. But when you have, as you said, the 2-week stretch of coaching malpractice, of leaving Mike Williams and all your starters in the game until the 8-minute mark in week 18 and not having Mike Williams, who I'm sure they would have loved to have had down the stretch of that game on Saturday.
What do you think? Just one more guy to throw the ball to?
And then giving up, what is it, the third largest comeback in postseason history against you, where you refused to run the ball in the second half. Yeah, that is absolutely fireable. I don't think they'll fire him for a couple reasons. A lot of it has to do with the Sean Payne stuff. Doesn't make sense. I'm sure Sean Payne might want to coach Justin Herbert, but you're going to pay to fire Staley, so that's millions of dollars.
Give up draft assets.
And probably the second highest, if not highest paid head coach in football, because that's what it's going to take to get somebody to hire him at this point in time. That's not the right owner. Their owner, by NFL standards, is cash poor. Of course, he's very, very wealthy. But owner standards, he's not Dave Tepper. He's not just have all kinds of cash from the NFL in the NFL world. So that's why I also don't think Brandon Staley would lose his job.
Here's the problem: is that none of us would deny Justin Herbert is a top 5 talent in the NFL. Incredible arm strength, great vision, whatever. He is a great quarterback. Most teams would kill to have this kind of quarterback. He's not a winner. I know that sounds like the kind of thing you'd be like, oh, we're judging them off of QB wins. In this case, yeah. You put up all the stats. You've had 3 years in the NFL. You've managed to make a single postseason, and in that game, you blew a 27-point lead. I don't know what it seems like in the big time, like in the big moments of the games, there's a lot of AFC quarterbacks that just become killers, right? Like Mahomes, we've seen it in Burrow. Hell, we probably saw it in Lawrence in his first ever playoff game in his second year in the NFL. Herbert, in those moments, isn't showing up regularly. I know that it's not that it never happens in a regular season game, but he's way too inconsistent with it. Look, I'd put a ton of this on Staley. I think he botched it 1,000 times over. But like at some point, if you got a 27-point lead, you just need your quarterback to just go out and put some drive together, whether Staley's holding you back or not.
Yeah, I mean, you need that. I think, again, the refusal to run the football, which has been a problem, by the way, throughout the season. Throughout the season has been an issue for Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert. I think you kind of said it, the killer instinct. It's a lot of quarterbacks when they're making mistakes and they're angry at themselves. They play that. Sometimes they can play their best. The really good ones. Some of them let the impact their performance, and that's to me what we have seen for Herbert. You know, like Mahomes, when he's angry, he plays some of his best football. He doesn't compound the mistakes necessarily. I think Herbert does, unfortunately. You know, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow. When Joe Burrow's angry, he plays some of his best football as well after making mistakes, and did not see that whatsoever from Justin Herbert.
It was such a mediocre game for them against Jacksonville.
Yeah, like someone on the Texans says clearly...
You won the turnover battle 5-0.
From the 8-1-6. They clearly didn't need Mike Williams. They were up 27-0. You don't think they would have wanted Mike Williams on a key third down conversion late in the fourth quarter? I mean, Mike not having Mike Williams, why Brandon Staley is under fire today. Because it's not just the comeback, but yeah, I do think even up 27-0, in the fourth quarter, once you had already given up the lead, it'd be nice to have that big-bodied wide receiver to go and throw the ball to on a 3rd and 8.
Well, and it's just the problem with Staley keeps coming down to the same thing. One, I never liked their offensive system because they use an offensive coordinator that I don't believe in. But like we spent time talking on about that matchup. The thing we kept saying was like Nick kept pointing out, which was not incorrect. It's look how good the Chargers defense is playing now. Look, they got it all going. It's all coming together. They're playing They're finally playing good defense under Brandon Staley. For the final 4 drives, they let the Jags go touchdown, 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 down. So you're supposed to be an elite defensive coach. I think Bill Bell, I don't think any great defensive coach has ever let a team go touchdown, 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 touchdown on 4 times in a row. And it's just like you have got to be like, because like, I don't know, you could place the blame at a couple of people, obviously, in this game. It's easy around. The fact that the Chargers didn't even turn it over. Like that Mahomes has let other teams come back on him. Be like, oh, there, and then they use that turnover to like put themselves back in this game and make it close. It wasn't even that. They never turned it over. They just kept getting not creative, as you pointed out, not running the ball, keep putting in the hands of Justin Herbert, became predictable, and then blew it. I'll say on this, it's enjoyable from this end because the entire AFC West, we talked about it at the end of the regular season, and now the team the only other team made the postseason, they put every available possible resource into this season, into getting the Chiefs finally. We're going to catch up. Chiefs didn't even have to play this week to go further than everyone else in the AFC West. They got to sit back and watch, and they're still deeper in the playoffs than everyone else in their division again.
Do you think finally, because of how it went down, let's say Brandon Staley stays as the head coach, and I don't think he should, but I think he will, that in the offseason, will the Chargers still be, for the 6th straight offseason, a team that people try to talk up and think, oh, this is going to be their year? Because this has been going on for so long. Is this finally the last straw that makes people understand that that's just not what that franchise is? Like, they're not going to have that kind of success with this group. Not talking about Herbert. I'm talking about, like, they're not getting
Staley,
Keenan Allen, Staley, Mike Williams. Those group of players.
You're too deep into it already, aren't you?
It's just not going to happen for them.
No. And look, I don't know. Maybe this is a good offseason conversation to go further down this road. We know for a fact, just NFL history, everything will tell us, there's one thing we definitively know. Of all these great AFC quarterbacks, someone's going to be left out. Someone's going to be the guy to be like, wow, cool, you put up a bunch of numbers. You accomplished absolutely nothing, right? One of these guys is going to be stuck with that moniker. Right now, it clearly points to Herbert. Like, Mahomes and Burrow have already shown, like, Mahomes, it's obviously not going to be him. Burrow went to a Super Bowl, so it doesn't feel like it's going to be him. And Trevor Lawrence, in his first playoff game, the same as Herbert, came back from the 27-0 versus the other. So right now, you could argue Lamar Jackson, right? He hasn't even been to an AFC title game.
Correct.
So, and he won an MVP. So maybe it's Lamar. Maybe he's not even going to be in the AFC next year. We're having a different conversation. But somebody's going to be the guy left with the career that is, cool, you put up a bunch of big numbers. It doesn't mean anything because it accomplish anything. And that kind of game makes you feel like it's going to be Herbert somehow.
Well, in the division that he's playing in, you're not run away from Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's your problem for still another 10+ years. So there's no, as long as you're staying with the Chargers, it's going to be very difficult for you to even win the division. We all know in order to get to the Super Bowl, most of the time, not always, most of the time you need to win your division, and that's going to be a huge challenge.
It's Monday now. On Friday, you promised us an update on your free Chipotle for a year. So did you? That doesn't sound good. You did not get free Chipotle for a year?
During the show on Friday, I was very excited. We came back from break. I received an email
from Chipotle.
From Chipotle, and it was confirmed it was a real email from Chipotle, and it said, you won free Chipotle for a year. Yes, you really did. Like that was in the email. And
you know that they're running a contest.
They actually are. They're running a contest. 3,100 people are going to win free Chipotle a year. 52 burritos. I mean, incredible. 52 entrees, one a week would be great. And nothing happened in the afternoon. I'm like, I still haven't got credit to my account. I message them. I get a message back very quickly from their corporate, chat service or whatever. And it said, quote, thanks for reaching out. One of our partners encountered a system error that sent an incorrect message to a small number of reward members today. We greatly apologize. You'll receive a secondary offer in your inbox very soon.
Said secondary offer was?
A free entree.
Oh, no.
From 52 to 1. Yeah.
How can they legally take this away from you? You fight this?
Because why am I going
to take it to City Hall?
I will send an email, but legally, no. One, we're talking about a $500 prize, and then also, it's probably in their contest rule. It's not. They made an error. The one part that's weird about it, and what are the odds? Everybody in the rewards program that had a January 12th birthday, which is my birthday last week,
those are the people who got the email.
Yeah. So everybody put why is everybody finally connected the dots? And what happened was they sent, I guess, something that was supposed to be for birthday stuff. They sent it to everybody that was January 12th. So the chances of me, who loves Chipotle, that was the one date where they happen to have the
I think you have a platform. You should let this be known.
Well, I'm
you should boycott going to Chipotle until they give you the things that you want, that you earned, deserve even.
I
would argue. Nick, you're with me, right? He should clearly boycott until they're willing to right this wrong.
No, I'm not with you, actually.
I'm going to send an email, though, and explain and be like, look up my reward. 0.1% of your customers, by the way. That's proven.
Yeah, you're 0.1%.
I don't know. If anybody wants to start another Netflix documentary, let me know. You guys saw the Pepsi Where's My Jet? Chipotle Where's My Burritos is where we're going to have our own coming up.
How would they, you're on the radio?
Like that title.
You like that? Chipotle Where Are My Burritos?
You are a 0.1% Chipotle user, as evidence from last year.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You are on the radio. You have weight here. Push it around.
I'm going to send an email.
Force them into giving you more free stuff like they promised.
Drop house and let it hang, man.
I'm going to send an email later.
I point out all of those things in my email.
I'm going to point out that I give them plenty of love for free on the air.
We've never said anything but kind
words
about Chipotle.
Let them know it's one of the highest rated midday sports shows in the area.
That's right. I'm going to do that. And they sent me. I already used the one free entree, though. I did already use that.
You already used it?
Yeah.
You already cashed it. See, now
I had it for lunch yesterday.
You got no juice now. You can't use the free entree until you get more.
That's like finishing the menu and saying, "Hey, this was the wrong order. I want my money back." It's like you ate the whole thing.
You should have waited on that one.
Honestly, what I was hoping, once they said, obviously I was bummed out, but the secondary offer, I don't know, I felt like at minimum it should have been like 4 of them. Or a real good one would have been what? 1 burrito a month instead of 52? Give me 12 of them. Just say we're giving you 1 month. Yeah. I don't know how many members. I mean, are we talking that they sent this accidentally to, how many people that are rewards members are January 12th birthdays? They sent it to 100 people, or was this 1,000 people and they were going to lose $500,000?
Well, and here's the problem. It doesn't matter how many people they sent it to. The only people who are going to get paid off are the loud voices. They're not going to pay everyone off. It's only the people that cause a ruckus.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
That's correct.
Look, I'm going to send an email. I am. I definitely going to send an email.
It needs to be strongly worded, not just any kind of email.
Okay.
Terse.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Terse,
I will send an email this afternoon.
Maybe the F word.
No, why would I do that?
No, free. Like I want free stuff. What do you think I was saying?
I'm not going to even say that. I'm just going to say I don't believe that this is satisfactory for the initial offer that you guys told me I had won it for a year. I don't think one entree
Let's
is
come to a reasonable compromise.
feasible.
I'd like 12.
Is realistic. And I'm like, you look up my Chipotle history. Look how often I go there.
Check the stats, Bucko.
Look
That's
it up
what
in
you
your
should say.
reward system.
Say that, Gold. I'll help you word this.
Bucko.
You need to have the
Bucko.
word. Check the stats, Bucko.
Yeah. So that was disappointing.
You know who you're messing with?
That was really
Let's all agree to write this on the air together, one sentence at a time, and you have to say it exactly that way.
Yeah, and you can pick the first sentence, Gold, and the last one.
I already kind of have it in mind. We're good. Thank you.
Just trying to help.
Gold. Look at where it's gotten you. You followed your
I haven't sent an email
path,
yet.
and you're getting screwed over by the man again.
Coming up next, though, there was one game in particular that went down on Sunday, that I think was the nightmarish type of scenario if it were to occur for the Chiefs. We'll tell you what that is next.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
New year, but the same message for me. If you need new windows, there's only one company in Kansas City worth trusting. It's the Window Source of Kansas City. They installed all new windows in my house several years ago now. By the way, still functioning perfectly. I don't have to worry about the things that others do, like high or rising heating or cooling bills. Those have stayed exactly where better now, but they've stayed exactly where they have been over the last 3 years because these windows were installed by certified master installers and they came with a lifetime warranty. I don't have to worry that if one of the windows gets a crack in it, that it won't be replaced because I'm working with a locally owned father and son team that I can trust. That's what matters here. When you're working on a project that size for your home, you want someone you can trust, and the Window Source of Kansas City is it. Give them a call, 913-333-6706, or if you're in Lawrence or Topeka, call Gary, 785-320-2045, or head over to windowsourceofkc.com.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 913-890-GOLD. MLS 114937.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, man, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Rally House. Shop every team in town. College and pro. Come on, it's time to go.
It's playoffs time, KC. Rally House has the Chiefs gear you're looking for, including Chiefs official postseason gear and the latest styles fit for the kingdom.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State. Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House. Rally House. It's your city, it's your house. It's the Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
Kentucky Fried Chicken's pot pies are just $5? That's a comforting thought, especially after a holiday season when you had to panic wrap gifts at 2 a.m.
Come on.
Watch the same kids movie 11 times.
Again!
And we're lovingly told your cooking was
a tad dry, dear.
Yeah. A $5 pot pie from KFC with tender chicken, savory sauce, and a flaky crust. That's a very comforting thought. Order your pot pie on the KFC app for just $5. That's finger-licking good. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Tax extra.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited on my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait, doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
This Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Upfield. Start the year with a new career. Upfield, producer of Country Crock and I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, is having an on-site hiring fair for manufacturing and warehouse employees, January 18th and 19th, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Apply at upfield.com/careers.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Just getting started here on a Monday on Cody and Gold. Of course, our NFL playoff coverage brought to you by Metro Ford. View our inventory online at metrofordkc.com. We'll get to Nick's notable notes in about 15 minutes or so. I thought that Bills and Dolphins game was kind of the example. Yes, the Bills ended up winning, but the nightmarish scenario of like if we're talking about the Chiefs and Jags on Saturday,
sure,
like, what would occur that would just make everybody in wreck, which was, in this case, a 17-point lead, and then you have a special teams blunder. All of a sudden, there's 17 points scored combined in the final 2.5 minutes or so of the first half. Josh Allen's getting a little frustrated, throws a pick. Like, special teams blunders, turnovers, letting a bad team in, or at least a team that's not as good as you, back into the game with momentum.
Their third quarterback.
With their backup. Now, you're not going to go up against a backup. You're going to go up against Trevor Lawrence on Saturday. But that whole formula, I think, is what would have Chiefs fans very concerned, even with the lead, if suddenly it was as tense and as tight as what happened in the Bills game.
Well, it was like they're obviously more talented than Miami, but I think your description of it is probably accurate. It's the everything goes wrong game. Because that's what it was. It was the everything goes wrong game there for them in a hurry, mind you. It kind of became that. Because here's the thing. It's not like Miami was playing great. Jalen Waddle was dropping deep passes. Tyreek Hill couldn't hold on to the ball. Gesicki dropped one that could have been a big gain. Like, things were not... Skylar Thompson played pretty... right? I mean, he was making bad decisions. He threw a couple of super questionable interceptions. And it was still down to the wire. Because of how many mistakes you made. And Josh Allen was getting frustrated. That shoving match between him and the offensive lineman. The offensive lineman was doing the normal.
Yeah, the Christian Wilkins.
The Christian Wilkins. Yeah. Sorry, the defensive lineman. That's the normal. Hey, I'm going to pipe block you here after this interception. And then Josh Allen, losing his mind over it. You're like, you didn't have to do any of this.
He started a little scuffle. Then, of course, he walked and ran away.
Well, that's, everybody's got that guy in the friend group. So when you look at when you look at kind of the culmination, now they won the game. So maybe there is something to be said about that. But sure. I can promise you that from this point on, the Bills or the Chiefs, as you're pointing out, this is the kind of disaster game, you cannot play like that and win. The Bills cannot play like that and beat anybody else that remains in the playoff field. I don't care if it's the AFC title game, the divisional round, the Super Bowl. You're not playing like that and beating anybody, because all those things falling apart on you all together is why you almost lost that game. You let everything kind of unravel together in a single game. The only reason they won is because they're up against a third-string quarterback. I'm convinced if plays in that game, they play like that, they definitely lose, right? They're a better offense than that, because Skyler just like it's just asking
there's no
too much.
RPO. I understand he ran in college at K-State, but the RPO game is not the same with him versus Tua. I mean, it's just reality. Third string quarterback, it's just not the same. But that game was not on him by any means. I mean, the fact that the Dolphins were as close as they were and had the chance to win was actually on the coaching. Yes, you can give Mike McDaniel credit for being in the position, but also the play calling, not knowing what play to call late on the 4th and 1 situation, taking the delay of game.
Which he admitted he thought that they had gotten the first down, or he said it was communicated to him they got a first down. Yeah, there was some bad coaching.
Throughout the game, though, they struggled to communicate. I get it's tough when you don't have starting
every
quarterback.
timeout they had in the entire game on stuff like that, right? On avoiding delay of games, pretty much. Like, how many different timeouts did either team call? Like, and the Bills too. They got real loose with all the timeouts in that game, both McDaniel and that. I think some of this is just like McDaniel's probably never really coached in that spot, and they were having trouble communicating exactly what they wanted to run. I don't know how the Bills even let this game be close, because that's one of those games that we've talked about, like where it's close, where you're like, but I know the better team.
And it was the opposite.
I can tell who the better team is.
It was kind of flipped of the normal formula if you're talking about the upset, the turnovers and all that, but you're wondering, the emotions from the last week or so, would it finally come back? Would they be mentally exhausted by the time now it's 2 weeks after everything with DeMar Hamlin? And they got off to a great start. It wasn't like Miami jumped out to the quick lead and, man, the Bills are just going through the motions early on in the game. No, the Bills had the 17-point lead. And then they still, at that point, it was Miami who settled in. Yeah, you get a big special teams return from Cedric Wilson that sets up the short field. And, the interception. All of that was kind of the situation that Buffalo's very fortunate to get out of that game. And it makes you – look, I think Buffalo and Kansas City and Cincinnati, of course, are still the three of the best teams in the entire postseason remaining. But – the Bills don't look nearly as daunting as they did 2 months ago with the Von Miller injury existing. Cincinnati, I still think is the better of between the Bills and themselves, but they got to go to Buffalo. And if Buffalo, you would think Buffalo's not going to.
4?
Yeah, 4 points. You would think Buffalo's going to get some of that stuff cleaned up that went wrong against Miami. And I do think Buffalo ended up beating Cincinnati just because of where it's at.
Well, the one difference is between those two games. I never thought Buffalo was going to lose that game, because Miami never looked like they had it together enough. Like, Buffalo just kept stepping all over themselves, and I was like, yeah, Miami's not taking enough advantage of it. Like, at any point in the game. It never felt like they were taking enough of it. And then they got up 17-0, and the game got close again like every AFC playoff game this year, but it didn't feel like it was going to go that way. Cincinnati, the Ravens had them, Gold. They had them. And instead, they tried to reach over the goal line from the 2-yard line. Cincinnati offensively couldn't move the ball. I think a lot of this is the same lesson the Chiefs have probably learned a couple times this year, because they've gotten in this type of game. And they've won some and they've lost some in the games where they just shot themselves in the foot. The Colts game they lost, I thought that's what happened in the Denver game. The one that we thought was way too close considering the opponent. They shot themselves in the foot a bunch of times. They're turning it over. Mahomes is throwing bad picks. Game got close. Game got weird. And when it starts coming that way, you just know it's going to come down to the wire one way or the other. It's, do you win this one? The Bills happened to win that one, even though it got weird. The one thing I do know is that it doesn't mean that the Bills will play bad again this week.
Right.
The weirdo games, they're not usually like you play them a bunch of times over and over again. They survived their
sometimes
their
that's
bad
what,
games.
in a weird way, sometimes that actually propels you. Like, how many times in sports have we seen a team that has a close call in an early series, even in the NBA postseason, an early series, like, man, they didn't look all that game. Everybody thought they were going to sweep a team and end up going 6 or 7. You're like, I don't know, they didn't look great, but for whatever reason, I don't know, causing a refocus, whatever, and then they go on a run to an NBA title, or in the NFL. You have a bad wild card weekend game. You found a way to just squeak it out and win. And the playoffs, it truly is a mindset of, like, we talk spreads and all this stuff, but who just win? Like, it really is just win in advance. It's all survive in advance. That is all that matters.
Especially this time of year.
There was a stretch of like 5 games in a row about last month where, but they're like, you're letting the Bills hang around, you're letting the Texans hang around. That can be issues issues because worried how it'll mean they're going to play in the postseason. In the postseason, if the Chiefs win by 3 against Jacksonville, I don't give a damn. If they, you know what I mean? Like, if they play in the AFC title game and they beat Buffalo by 2, who cares? And Mahomes threw 2 picks, who cares? They're going to Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like
Mahomes threw 3 interceptions. Like, they won.
It doesn't. Like, all the issues of how they looked was because it concerns you for how they would play in the postseason. But if you don't look great in a postseason game but win, it really doesn't matter. You're winning. Just move on.
I guess that could be good news for both Cincinnati and Buffalo, who obviously felt like they could have been on the brink of it, right? That was the tipping point. I understand that we can still look at those things and be like, well, he's throwing picks again. Is that going to be a problem in the Super Bowl? Like, well, it only does it once. Largely what you're talking about, like when a team is going through like 3 games in a row where they're just giving the ball away, you're like, well, there's still like 8 games to play.
Yeah.
This could keep being a problem. If they get to a Super Bowl and he's thrown 2 interceptions in each of the next 2 games, you'd be like, well, he only has to not throw interceptions once or throw 2 again and win again for a 3rd straight time. I'm not writing off Buffalo because like down the way to get past their division rival. And both of these teams had to play a 3rd time against a division opponent. And honestly, this goes back to the Chargers thing. I'm glad you don't have to do that because weird stuff happens in those games. And at the very least, playing the Jaguars twice is better than playing the Chargers a 3rd time.
We'll get to Nick's notable notes coming up in just a little bit. Thanks again, everybody that came out to the playoff Pilsner beer release party at Cinder Block Brew. We had a ton of fun. Packed house again, just like last year. Dusty was doing a show out there. We hopped on there a little bit. I saw Cody for like 2 seconds. I didn't even.
Yeah, where were you?
I figured where were you? I thought you left after a half hour. I think
for like 2.5 hours.
It really makes sense though. Like you and I don't need to stand and talk for 2 hours at an event like that. We spend plenty of time together during the week.
So there's a couple of things that stand out to me. One, maybe you're right. Maybe we know each other really well, so we don't have to spend all these time.
I didn't see Nick there though.
Why am I finding out in the group?
Yeah.
You met a girl there and then went on a date. Why am I finding out via the group, Nick?
Am I supposed to notify you?
Shouldn't we have found out about that under different circumstances?
Under what circumstances? Was I supposed to notify you? I didn't know.
I think it'd have been nice if you had
send you a text.
I mean, I think that'd have been nice. You know, while you were drumming up a date, I was finding business for the company.
Okay.
I was drumming up business for Odyssey because I care. You know? I set up a meeting between a salesperson and a local business owner. And now I'm finding out about your date. How did it go, by the way?
Yeah,
so I think you just, before we move on from that, Cody just obviously wanted to bring up that like he set up a business meeting as if we're supposed to be impressed or something.
I'm just saying priorities, that's all.
No, that's not what you were saying though. You wanted to get credit for that.
I was setting priorities. I was helping out Odyssey.
That's not even how it played out.
So you're a corporate shill, is what you are.
I was talking to listeners, like we all were, had a great time talking to our listeners. And at one point, Fesco said, "Hey, Alex, come over here. Alex, come over here." He said it twice because the first time I kind of heard him, but I was in a conversation with someone. I didn't want to just leave the conversation. So then finally he said another time, all right, I'll go over there. And there's a group of people there. And
did he know?
They were listeners, but somehow it came up. I don't know. Anyway, introduced me to this girl that was there. She had just moved to the area, I guess. And she was with this group of friends, and so we started talking, and then and I think of course my fellow coworkers, because they're so awesome, was taking photos of me talking for an hour and a half to this girl, and then we went with a group of friends on Saturday night to a bar and watched the game there and hung out.
So no solo date yet, but you have now essentially been out in public, in a social setting with her twice.
That's right. Yeah.
And are you planning a third?
We are.
Set?
Yeah. We've been texting a little bit. So yeah, we'll do some this week.
Just texting?
Yes. What? Yes.
Don't make me say it.
Yeah. Texting. That's not even.
What did you want to ask? Well, how did the second date go as well as the first?
Yeah.
The second date went really well as well, except it actually worked out very well. But what if I told you there was almost a bar fight?
With you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Or she almost got in a bar fight?
That would be...
Because that actually seems more likely than you almost getting in a bar fight.
And I don't even know her.
That's probably...
Knowing what I know about you, it seems more likely it would be her.
That's probably accurate. If you know me well enough, that's not my thing.
We have established you've never been in a fight at all, ever. So you almost getting a bar fight is of interest to me.
The bar fight thing is not my deal. So we were with we didn't pick the spot we went to. We were with this group of people. that we're already going to meet at a certain bar here in town. I'm not going to mention the bar. Probably a bar I probably wouldn't have gone to otherwise. So we're there. And we're watching the Chargers game, and like I said, everybody's rooting on the Jags. So the Jags are coming back. And at one point in time, there was this guy that came by, because there was a bunch of other girls there as well. And this guy just comes up in between the girl that I was talking to, just comes in between, is like, "Can I join the party?" And like slams his beard down.
That's a bad start.
Yeah,
that's not a great move.
That's a great.
I don't know. I think keep stepping on your turf, and let's see if this pipsqueak does anything about it.
And so then, luckily, the girl that was there, the one I wasn't there with, she scooted down. So like he didn't sit in between both of them. Like he sat to the other side. Anyway, he's talking to her. The girl I'm talking to isn't like really feeling him. Like she kind of got a bad
She'd like
vibe.
him out of the group.
Yeah,
Okay,
Which that's a good thing. I mean, if she were feeling him, that'd be a major red flag.
that would be immediately
No,
problematic.
she wasn't talking to him. Like just meant like she didn't even like that her friend was talking to him.
I'm just saying to turn around and be like, this guy's kind of cool, huh?
Oh, yeah, that would not have been good.
That was a cool
anyway,
move.
So the table is kind of feeling the same thing. So he's off and on coming back to the table. His parents are there as well, which was a little weird.
What?
Coming over and talking. So night goes on. They also happen to have dueling pianos going on. So finally, it's not as loud. The dueling pianos are done. It's like midnight at this point in time. The guy comes back, right? The guy comes back over and he goes, "All right, team meeting time." Again, I hadn't talked to them. Comes back to me, the two girls, and him, and he goes, "You know, I don't really know you well, but you kind of seem like you're a douchebag."
Wait. So that's
the
the
first
reason.
interaction.
So that was the reason for calling the team meeting. He
Well,
called a
I'll
team
get to that.
meeting
I'll
to
get to
announce that
I'll
he
get-
thinks you're a douchebag.
I'll get to that. So he goes, "I think you seem like you're kind of." Because I don't know you at all. You probably think you're better than me or whatever. But
Did you think you were better than him?
I don't even know the guy.
Yes, you did. Answer the question. You thought you were better than him.
By the end of the sequence, I for sure know I'm
I
better
think
than
the
this guy.
second he slammed the beer down and said,
He said, "I'm better than this guy."
"Mind if I join?" I knew immediately, I'm better than you.
Oh, I mean, I knew immediately, like, I didn't like the guy the minute he did that,
Sure.
if that's what you mean, for sure. So anyway, okay, so he says team meeting, he says this, and then right after he says you're a douchebag, and I'm just almost like kind of stunned at that point, because I was like, what the hell? I haven't even talked to the person. Then he goes, well, my buddy owns a bar down the street, we can get free beer, we can play pool if you guys want to go. And I look at the two girls, and like, because I wasn't going to say.
Was he inviting you?
Yeah, that was the weird thing. Right after calling me,
Wait, so you were invited? I thought he was just inviting the girls.
No, the three. He's like, no.
Very confusing.
And so I look at them and they're like not saying anything. And then he proceeds to continue to explain what he does for a living. He's like, you think you're better? He goes, I climb trees for a living.
So wait. So he called you a douchebag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he invited you to the bar,
Yes.
but then he went back to
Well,
because
we didn't give an answer. Like he could tell, it's over, it's done, it's not happening. So then he's like, I'm just going to completely be a douche.
Okay.
And so he proceeds to like explain, again, like I think you think you're better than me because I climb trees for a living. And then that's when because the guy's already insulted me twice now at this point.
Yeah.
So then I'm just like, I don't know. I think you're the one seems like the douchebag to me. I'm like, oh, you're calling. He goes,
well, that's who'll start the fight most of the time.
And so he's like, and then so he just
Is that the
says-
moment it escalated?
It would have. I diffused the situation quickly. Because when he goes, oh, so you're calling me a douchebag. And I go, I don't know who the hell you are. I don't give a bleep who you are. And then his dad walks over at this point in time. That's when I had to diffuse the situation because I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be
Cole's going to have to fight an entire family tree for his first fight.
Let me ask you.
The girl, meanwhile, I'm with, she's putting her hand like on my leg, like patting my leg or whatever. Anyway, I finally say, look, I don't even know who you are, man. His dad ends up escorting him out of the place and he left. The girl I was talking to, she said, you handled it very well and was impressed by it, and we moved on. But that was very close. If he said that to the wrong guy, if he said that to Nick, nipped it up, and Nick would have got his ass beat.
Nick definitely would have punched him. Why did he have to get his ass beat in
I
that
like the
scenario?
way you were starting that sentence. I didn't like the way you ended it. I thought you were going to say Nick would have stood up and started a fight, but you went straight to the conclusion of the fight, which was me losing.
So if you know me, like usually diffusing the situation is the route that I go. This guy's a complete a-hole. And I didn't even tell you the last line. I didn't even tell you the last line he said. He took off his hat as he was walking out of the place, and he goes,
Was it a trucker
nice.
hat?
I don't know if it was a trucker
Was
hat.
it on backwards?
When he took off his hat, did you see the back of his neck and was his neck red?
I didn't pay that much attention. He obviously just didn't. He clearly, I don't know, something. He takes his hat off and he goes, nice spiked hair, bro, and walked away. So this guy just had a problem with me. I have no idea why. So yes, to answer your question, do I think I'm better than the guy? Hell yeah, I do. Hell yeah, I do.
Oh man, that's good. That's good. You know what? You're right. If I were in that situation,
you definitely would have started a fight.
It depends. It depends because if it's this being a girl that you just met, first date with a girl, you're going to be on your best behavior.
Yeah.
You're not going to be your full, unapologetic self. So I probably wouldn't have. Now, if it was with my current girlfriend and a guy was doing that and called me a douchebag, yeah, probably have escalated. But all setting, if it's an uncomfortable setting, it's like this guy's in his element.
Oh, he definitely was more his vibe.
I'm at a bar that I've never been to before. His dad's right there.
His dad and mom were there. I mean, the whole thing was weird, man. One of the bizarre interactions I've ever had at a bar. It's like out of nowhere.
I don't want to be rude when asking this question, but like, do you think?
Oh,
he said he climbs his trees for a living.
By the way, I don't care. That's fine. But like the way he prefaced it.
I actually do have a problem. I don't think that's a job.
I
don't think you just climbing them. You mean like trim them or something?
Yeah, you climb to the top, come back down, and like, here's your $20, Daryl.
He said climbs trees. So I don't know if
do you think he drove himself? Like, do you think he has? You think he's allowed to drive a car?
Yes. I mean, he was with his parents, but
maybe they drove him.
Do you think he lives with his parents?
I don't know.
Don't make me ask more questions because I think you know what I'm asking.
I don't know,
you
man.
You playing dumb?
I don't know.
Answer the question. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
We didn't get to see him. How much bigger was he than you?
Oh, he was bigger. Yeah, he was bigger.
He looked like he could rip a tire in half.
No, I wouldn't go that far. But he was a bigger guy.
Give us like a height, just to finish this off. Give us a generic height and weight estimate.
And did he have a high school diploma or GED, do you think?
I would say probably like 6 foot max, maybe a little bit shorter. But he was probably pushing 2 bills at least. Yeah, a little over 2 bills. Yeah.
A good 2 bills or like an gross 2 bills?
No, like he wasn't
obese.
Yeah.
So he would have whipped your ass, Nick. That's the end of this conversation.
Anyway, if the guy's a listener, fantastic. Please call in. We can talk about how much you were the douchebag on Saturday night. We can do that if you would like.
But I probably won't answer.
Oh, we should definitely take that call if that happens.
If that guy calls in, let's absolutely take that call.
Yeah.
What would be the problem here?
So that was Saturday night.
Boy, you really took the Friday night beer release party to lengths I was not even I didn't even thought imaginable.
I'm proud though. I'm proud of you.
Are you?
Met a girl, went on a date, almost got in a bar fight. She's good for you.
You went on a date within 24 hours.
On a weekend in which NFL football was being played in the playoffs.
She probably likes that you showed some.
She did. Trust me. That was exactly
some
what
restraint.
Restraint. Yeah.
That was exactly what was articulated to me. Yes.
Oh.
Oh, not like that.
No,
Nick.
you said it like that. Though, so don't even put this on me.
Not like that.
Don't put this on me because you said it like that.
Not like that.
You kind of had a little twinkle on your eye.
Articulated.
Nick, you know what? It's the second time in a row we're skipping your notes, man. We're not going to have enough time. How do you feel about that?
What if we get to him like it'll be like we never skipped?
You know what, man? You kind of seem like a douchebag.
Oh man, I just think it's hilarious that he said anybody that wears a watch is a douchebag. I'm wearing. That's what he said.
What a broad generalization that is.
That's what he said. I'm wearing an Apple Watch. I'm not wearing a damn Rolex or a tag or
even if you were wearing a Rolex or a tag. What percentage of the population wears of men wear watches?
I'm wearing an Apple Watch.
50%.
I mean, look, you were asking me, Cody, like it was how he was drunk, but not like slurring his words drunk. He definitely had been drinking, but like he wasn't like stumbling all over the place. If that was the case, I would have just been like, "You're drunk, like leave." Like it would have been. I wouldn't have had more of the interaction. I would have been, okay, this guy's just way too wasted. That was not what this guy was.
I love this. This guy seems like a freaking winner.
By the way, there's no chance this guy
climbs trees for a living, showed up to the bar with his parents, thinks you're a douchebag for having spiked hair and a watch.
Yes.
I think that there's no chance that this guy doesn't go to that bar regularly, and we should all go back together on Saturday night.
What's the name of the bar?
I think the other girl though that we were with said he lives in Green Valley. So I don't think and we were not in Green Valley. We were definitely
we're narrowing him down. We might be able to figure this guy out. Climbs trees for a living. Lives in Green Valley. Nick gave you the perp's description. He gave you a general height and weight. Did you have a beard?
2 bills.
What would you say? Facial hair?
No, I don't think so. I wasn't paying that.
How long was his hair when he took his hat off?
Pretty short.
Okay. Yeah. We might be able to get a sketch artist in here.
I think we could. Those cost some. I think to get a sketch artist, they have to be accused of a crime.
I mean, anybody can draw a sketch of
harassment.
somebody.
He did harass you guys.
Yeah,
and he incited violence, in my opinion.
He tried to.
Yeah.
He said it again. If he would have said to Nick or anybody else, something else would have happened.
Not me. That one time that guy punched me in the face, I just walked away. So,
wow.
I'm not starting a fight.
Coward.
Coming up next, we'll get to the
crazy
11 o'clock hour and what is happening with all these other quarterbacks in the NFL. Plus, maybe we'll allow Nick to give us some notes.
Gotta write something down. Nick's note. You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Alex's That Betting Show every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Right here on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
If you are a local business owner, it's probably been a bumpy ride from pandemic to inflation. Did you know that if your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee? Not a lot of people know about this. It isn't a loan. There's no payback. It's a refund of your taxes. The challenge is getting your hands on it. How do you cut through the red tape? Get your business the refund money? Well, go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys they've put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you as well. They do all the work, no charges up front. You simply share a percentage of the cash they get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those who took PPP, nonprofits, even those that had increases in sales. To find out if your business qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. That's getrefunds.com.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Do you want access to the best tickets in NFL playoff games, concert tickets, college basketball? You can do so with the Game Time app. Don't you want to make sure that you're linked up with the best ticket app possible? We also got major concerts coming for the summer, and you're going to want to make sure to browse the app and make sure that you get the best price that you can. And what people love most about the Game Time app is the amazing last-minute deals on tickets, how fast and easy it is to use. Real images of the views from your seat. Easy to find all the sports, concerts, and shows going on in your area. Game Time is the fastest-growing ticketed app in the United States. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem code KCSP for $20 off your first purchase. I want you to use my promo code because you know I'm all about helping you save money. And this is a great way for you to save a couple of bucks as you make a purchase to the hottest concert tickets and sporting events in the city. Download the Game Time app, enter your email address, and enter code KCSP for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create an account and redeem code KCSP for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. The most anticipated matchup of NFL wildcard weekend is here, and the easiest way to get into the playoffs is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. New customers, if you join today, you can get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 wager. All you need to do is use my promo code CDOT. You guys know I've not been sold on Tampa Bay this year, so I'm going to take the Cowboys in the money line. I'm also going to take CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard to score an anytime touchdown. You can make that same game parlay right there on the app. You can create your own. You also can use one that's pre-built on the app, an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. Don't miss out. Use my promo code CDOT. Place one $5 bet. If you're a new customer, you get $150 in free bets, win or lose. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Also, 610 Sports Radio. 21 in President, Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable free bet that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Experience the future of connectivity with Spectrum One. You get Spectrum Internet delivering the fastest speeds in the nation for $49.99 a month. Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security, free for 12 months. And a Spectrum mobile line with unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G, free for 12 months. That's Spectrum One. Visit Spectrum.com or your local Spectrum store today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
Call 913-363-9439. That's 913-363-9439. 913-363-9439. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick Weight Loss Hypnosis Seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds. And we feel great.
Seminars Wednesday, February 22nd at the Sure Stay Plus by Best Western in Kansas City, or Thursday, February 23rd, Holiday Inn and Suites, Overland Park West and Overland Park. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar at 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Paid for by government.com.
Did you hear? The new 2023 Silver Eagles are available in a perfect 10 grade for the first time ever. That's right. The American Eagle Silver Dollar in perfect 10 grade, just like perfect 10s for sports cards. Coin experts are calling this the biggest event of the century for coin grading. You must hurry. Very few silver dollar coins will receive the coveted grade of perfect 10. These American Eagle Silver Dollars are brand new, 99.9% pure silver legal tender coins minted by the United States Mint. Available now in perfect 10 grade for the first time ever. Just call and you are guaranteed a new 2023 just released perfect 10 Silver Eagle. With limited quantities, you must call now to order. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. If you order now, you'll receive a free collector bonus over a $10 value free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your new perfect 10 silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-969-0686.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios.
Chiefs Kingdom, this is Mitch Holtis. Catch me every Monday at 4 with C-Dot on the Drive. Hamburgers? Maybe. Chiefs football? Definitely. On your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, into the 11 o'clock hour. It's Cody and Gold here on a Monday. Of course, our NFL playoff coverage brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. We'll get to Nick's notable notes, I promise, Nick. I promise, here in about 15 minutes or so. We had to talk a little bit more and break everything down from this past weekend.
It's an exciting weekend. There's even more that happened at the beer release party I think we should get to later.
Oh, okay.
It involves a listener and you, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Wow. This part I don't know. That part I don't know. I told you everything I know from the weekend. I have no idea what you were doing. Again, I barely saw you at the event.
No, I think we saw each other for like 30 seconds.
But it was cool to see our listeners out there. We had a great time. The beer, just like last year, just goes down easy. It was great stuff. Playoff Pilsner. Had a ton of fun at Cinder Block. But looking at the wild card weekend, there was a lot of storylines around the weekend that weren't about the quarterbacks that were necessarily playing entirely, right? There's multiple reports that the Raiders are going to aggressively pursue Tom Brady, and they believe he can be a program changer. Now, Tom Brady hasn't even played this weekend. He's playing tonight. We can get to that game later. Actually, really excited for tonight's game, Cowboys-Bucks down in Tampa. Is Tom Brady going to pull something out of his you-know-what again? Maybe.
I mean, he has so many times in his career.
Maybe. I do like the Cowboys tonight, but the Raiders and Tom Brady, other than Tom Brady wanting to basically promote his brand, I still don't get the Raiders part of it here. And even if you're the Raiders, I don't get it.
This is the single most interesting offseason of quarterbacks I can ever remember. Because more often than not, what we talk about, right? Superstar quarterbacks stay where they go. Mediocre ones move around a little bit, but the mediocre ones are more interesting than normal. I kind of get it if I'm the Raiders. You know why? Because if I'm Josh McDaniels and I don't start winning soon, I'm going to get fired too. Desperation breeds this. This is why Chris Ballard's finally going to take a damn quarterback, first overall. He's going to buy himself a few years. Just as long as the rookie quarterback's not a complete mess, he's going to buy himself a few years with Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or whoever he goes after, because Stroud did officially declare today. But it's like, if you're him, you know that you can get, and right now, I got to be honest, Tom Brady feels like he's playing for like 2 or 3 more years. I don't think he got divorced just to like retire if he loses this game tonight against the Cowboys. I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing this a couple more years. And as much as I said, I think Tom Brady's kind of done, I never think he'll be the old Tom Brady before. But I mean, if you look at stats, he's still better than a lot of other quarterbacks that you can start.
I think you said he was cooked.
I think that I meant that like compared to like old Tom. Like I don't think Tom Brady's ever winning a Super Bowl again. But also, you weren't winning one with Derek Carr, and you sure as hell not winning one with the 20th overall pick or whatever in the NFL draft, or the 30th overall pick. What, you know, like,
yeah, but the Raiders have a top 8 pick. I mean, that's the thing. Like the Raiders have, I think it's the 8th pick in the draft. They have an opportunity to go get. Even if they went the Tom Brady route, I don't get. That's not a long-term play.
No, but it buys you 2 years. You get to save the draft capital. And, you know, you got to pair them up with Devontae Adams. Their problem is the same problem as the Bucs. You're not a good enough team, absent Tom Brady, to just have Tom Brady show up and be great. You're just not a good enough team. And then, because, like, and if I were the Raiders and I was interested in Tom Brady, I'd rather just give up the draft assets and go get Lamar. Because Lamar didn't even travel the team in Baltimore. That thing seems like it has soured. They're done. I don't feel like they want to be in the same room anymore together. It seems fairly obvious Lamar doesn't want to be with the Ravens anymore. And there's Derek Carr. And now Miami's claiming that Tua's going to be their guy to start next year. Now, you can claim that all you want in the offseason. Do you pick up his 5th-year option? Do you, like, are you going to actually show commitment to Tua? Or are you just saying, like, he's our starter, we think maybe? Because Tom Brady makes more sense in Miami than anywhere else.
It would if the whole Sean Payton thing came to fruition. But Sean Payton's not going to Miami. They're not going to fire Mike McDaniel. There was some noise around that before. Even with how they performed yesterday against Buffalo, I think that'd be a foolish move to fire Mike McDaniel. That would be ridiculous if you're Steve Ross. The
fact that he's even close against Buffalo with his third-string quarterback is good enough for me. He screwed some stuff up in that game. There's some good that came with that. He kept his team close against a team that was superior to his own.
The other part is also, I think, just around the quarterback is going to be the Derek Carr end of it. You mentioned the Raiders and what Lamar, but Derek Carr, I mean, he's going to, and the Raiders reportedly are shopping him already right now. Like, he's not going to get cut, I don't believe. To me, he's going to get traded. If you cut him, you get absolutely nothing, obviously, if you're the Raiders, and you still would owe some money. So their preference has to be to trade Derek Carr. And I think if you're a team like the New York Jets in particular, that's exactly who would fit perfectly for what you're trying to do there in the AFC East.
I mean, Brady in the AFC West would be interesting just because.
That's the other. Why would you, if you're Brady, why would you go AFC West?
With Herbert and Mahomes and, I mean, we used to say and Russell Wilson. Not to say that anymore.
But still, I guess yeah, whatever.
Well, part of what's made Tom Brady, and he must know this, what made Tom Brady capable of winning all those rings is they were always the 1 or the 2 seed. They always had a bye, Gold, every year. Every year in New England, when it was a double bye system, he got a break. Playing less games matters, so it turns out. There are a lot, I just don't know, like, because this is also, Nick, you're a Heisman Trophy voter. How many quarterbacks are going to go in the first round? 4? So 4 first-round quarterbacks, I feel like, is about the number. Somehow it always ends up being 5. There's like just some dude we don't think deserves to be in the first round, but ends up getting picked at like 31. But let's say it's 4. Let's be conservative and say it's 4 because I'm pretty sure 4 no matter what. So 4 first-round quarterbacks. 5 capable quarterbacks just floating around, right? Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr. Like, there are options across the board. So it's like, what are these teams? Like, you can go a lot of different ways. For the first time in a long time, I feel like the quarterback carousel mess is going to be, because you got to decide between, is it right to finally take a chance and take a young quarterback, or do we put Derek Carr on an already good roster and try to go from there? And something tells me the Jets are going to want to do that because they just did the let's take a guy in the top 5 of the NFL draft thing, and it failed. And it tends to be, you don't do the same thing twice, right?
Well, we asked Chris Ballard and the Colts, but yes,
or Arizona, who did do that. They got Josh Rosen. They went back to Kyler Murray.
No, I mean just like as far as like trying to do the same thing twice. I mean, Chris Ballard tried to go the veteran route. Why? Like I don't believe the Colts would go Derek Carr, even though he's better than the 3 guys they've tried to bring in 3 straight years: Phillip Rivers, obviously Carson Wentz, and Matt Ryan. But I don't know if I think Chris Ballard finally realized, like, okay, I got to go draft the guy that we think can be the long-term future franchise quarterback. Stop with this signing and trading for veteran quarterbacks the other side of 30 and are going to cost us a ton of money, but aren't capable of actually getting job done.
You know what's funny, though? It's like if he had just waited till this year to do it, it actually would have been a pretty good year for it. Like I didn't even mention Jimmy Garoppolo. There's going to be some team that's him.
Well, now the report is the report is that the Seahawks will be willing to keep Geno. See if the market blows up too much where they don't think it's worth it. But the report over the week is that Geno Smith is likely going to stay in Seattle. That's what Seattle prefers.
Like but that's not a guarantee. And we understand that, like, they say they want to spend the money now or what is going to come there. It just really kind of changes the whole. I feel like there's going to be. I know we've said this before in a year, but this is like most of these guys are free. Most of these guys are free or can be free. The other times we just like the hypothetical guess of, is this guy actually going to leave? And last year was one of the first times we actually saw big quarterback move in the NFL. Russell Wilson got traded from his team.
Yeah, the things we
Somebody finally left.
The things we know for sure, right? Derek Carr is getting a new team this offseason. No matter what, trade or release, he's getting a new team. Tom Brady, not staying with Tampa. He's either retiring or getting a new team. Like we know that's the path.
I feel pretty confident on those is going to happen.
Jimmy Garoppolo
getting a new team.
Probably not going to stay in San Fran
Even if
because
they went Trey Lance, they're going to go Brock Purdy
because of what Brock Purdy's being able to do. And we don't know how there's a chance that they keep Trey Lance and Brock Purdy next offseason, but maybe they did go. Maybe they move on from Trey Lance. Like there's movement there that can.
And then we're like, what do the Bears do? Do they just stick with Justin Fields? Do they take a different quarterback at 1 and try to trade Justin Fields? Like there's
a lot of interesting options.
It's a super intriguing offseason of quarterback stuff. And it does remind me always to be just thankful that I can watch it from afar and be intrigued by it for the rest of the NFL and not even have one iota of a question of what's going to take a quarterback in Kansas City.
And hopefully not have to worry either about the center position, the offensive line for a while with Creed Humphrey, and that's why we're excited. Coming up a little bit later this week on Thursday, you'll have a chance to win an autographed Creed Humphrey football. How to win that, but you have a chance to qualify on Thursday and win an autographed football. Nice little gift right before the postseason starts up this weekend. So that's Thursday right here on Cody and Gold, starting at 10 a.m.
An autographed football from a future Hall of Famer.
We think so, man. We think so.
I mean, look, he's already a second-team All-Pro in his second year in L. Been first-team All-Pro. If Jason Kelsey didn't exist, he does. So we're going to have to wait a little bit on those first-team All-Pros, and that's the thing that gets you in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, like you said, coming up Thursday, qualify all day. So if you're listening at any point, the show on Thursday, you'll have a chance to win that Creed Humphrey autograph football.
We'll get to Nick's little notes coming up in about 5 minutes. But we knew last week Kliff Kingsbury was fired by the Arizona Cardinals. They still owe him after signing into a new contract this past offseason. So they still owe him unless he takes a job elsewhere where there's offset language and things like that. $15 million or so he still has coming his way. He's also made plenty of money anyway to begin with, and we saw the photo of that house on draft night.
Pretty nice.
Pretty damn nice house that Kliff's living in. The report from Pete Schrager is that Kliff Kingsbury has been offered other opportunities, or at least been offered to discuss them. He's turned them down because he's left for Thailand on a one-way ticket, and is just going to chill in Thailand, no plans on returning right now, which is the joke we all make, like, hey, man, just pay me to go away, which is what the Cardinals, and he's actually going away for now. Oh, good for him. Good for him.
I don't remember ever hearing of a coach doing this ever. You know what this is? This, for our listeners, this is probably the first time we've seen, like, a millennial head coach get fired from a job. He's like, see ya. You're like, wait, you don't want to, like, it's not about the grind? You don't want to just, like, get back out there and get back to coaching? He's like, nope. I'm great. I'm going to buy this one-way ticket. I'm going to fly over there. I'm going to turn my phone off, and you're just not going to hear from me for like months. I kind of respect it.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like
why not?
I don't have a problem with this at all. Why go be an OC right now? Someone will take coordinator next season, wouldn't they? Or 2 seasons from now?
Of course.
If he took a whole year off. He's been an NFL head coach now.
He can go back to college if he wants to. Next coach, you know what I mean? Like, he has got plenty of options still, and obviously money is not a problem. So yeah, go enjoy life. I think his girlfriend's like a supermodel. Just go to the beach, just enjoy life for a couple months, reset. Don't have to deal with crybaby Kyler Murray anymore. Like, just enjoy life for a little bit.
How long do you think he'll be over there?
Oh, like a month. You're not going to go live there for a year.
I don't know, man.
Can't you see like a month?
Linen shirt.
Well, yeah, but I don't think in August Kliff will still be hanging out in Thailand. But yeah, for like a month or so, why not? Just get away from it. Enjoy life.
I just don't feel like this is the first time. Like, this is the first time ever I can remember a coach doing it this way. Like, just walking on it. Because normally it's like, all right, I'll go be an offensive coordinator for a year. Or if you really think you can get another head coaching opportunity, you do the sit out the year, but you do like guest analyst stuff in the postseason. All the things that would be available to Kliff, a young, handsome person.
He can still do that.
Like, he'd be on TV right now. He could be in the TV for, like, they'd put him on NFL Network to talk on a panel before the Super Bowl tomorrow. They don't care. But instead, he's like, I'm buying this one-way ticket to Thailand. I'll see you guys in a few weeks.
And, of course, the internet doing digging because nobody can just go with the story. Someone looked it up and said that in Thailand, I guess you have to have a return trip. Like, you can't have a travel visa with no return to Thailand. So people are like, Pete Schrager, they're questioning Pete Schrager's report. Because they're like, hey, you can't be a one-way ticket. Like, who cares? Either way, he's staying.
Well, maybe what he told him is like, I bought a ticket, I don't know when I'm coming back. Maybe he booked a trip back, but he's like, I don't know if I'm taking that flight.
Yeah, and Schrager said,
like, same general principle.
Yeah, he's just going to go chill out. Nice beaches, I think, in Thailand.
He's going to like it, I think. This is going to be a happy moment for Kliff. And honestly, you're right. Getting away from Kyler Murray is probably the best thing for your mental health ever. I mean, I don't know that he's ever going to work as an NFL head coach. It seemed like he got his job simply on the back, as we've discussed, of Patrick Mahomes having a really great rookie season, or not second year in the league. Obviously, his first year as a starter. It seemed like that. But, I mean, he could have done a worse job with Arizona. They weren't a laughing stock the entire time. They just fell apart twice. And then this year, he lost his starting quarterback due to injury. And Kyler seems like he's impossible to work with. If I were a team, I'd be very interested in him as offensive coordinator.
Oh, there's plenty of situations where a guy's just not a great head coach, but he's a fantastic coordinator. It feels like in the NFL, that's probably what it'll be for Kliff. Like, if I'm the Patriots, I would hire him to be my OC yesterday. Jets, I would hire him to be my OC yesterday. But we'll see. Right now, he has no interest, it sounds like, in coaching. Just live it up in Thailand.
Gotta write something down. Nick's notable notes.
Nothing wrong with Thailand, boys.
You been? You strike me as someone that would have been, actually. Someday?
Hopefully.
Never been to Asia. That's Nick's plan. When he gets that Arrowhead Pride money, gone.
Just waiting.
1 month in Thailand.
Just waiting for that day. All right, guys. I actually had something I wanted to get to today, but the first hour of the show did not go according to plan. There were some, I thought, unnecessary shots taken at yours truly, so I thought I would take this opportunity to sort of clear some things up.
Okay.
First things first.
Yeah.
My words are being twisted, and I don't like that. I don't like when people put words into my mouth. I only like it when people take words out of my mouth. And I believe it was one of you bozos said that I claimed that the Chargers had Super Bowl vibes.
That was Alex.
Well, you said that you didn't think the Chiefs would beat the Chargers because they don't have Super Bowl vibes. So then you picked the Chargers to win, which means Super Bowl vibes.
Again, it's not what was said, Gold. I said the Chiefs didn't have Super Bowl vibes. That
you still feel that way?
Is independent of the Jaguars or the Chargers. But what really upsets me is the fact that you guys are purporting that I picked the Chargers to go to the AFC Championship game.
You did.
You did. You absolutely did.
You know what, guys? In times like these, I think it's best to not argue. Let's not bicker. Let's just take a listen to the audio from Friday's show. They allowed 3 points to the Jets, 3 points to the Texans, and 16 to the defense. Their defense is playing.
It is
elite.
They are.
But you have the Chargers in the Super Bowl, so I know who you're choosing to win this game.
No, I don't have the Chargers in the Super Bowl, and I'm picking the Jaguars.
That's such a doctored audio clip.
Conclusive.
You know what's
audio.
great? You know what's great, Nick? Cody and I have access to computers during the break as well. I'll go and cut the audio from earlier in that show that day.
That same show when you said they're going to the AFC title game.
Okay, so now we're moving the goalposts. Okay.
Moving the goalposts?
That's fine. For those of our loyal listeners that listen to the show almost every day, you guys can recall that at the end of the show, that cut heat is what he said, but an hour before that, he said the Chargers were going to beat us and go to the AFC title game. Changed mid-show, and they're only using the last cut.
Okay, so I'm not allowed to change my mind.
Just definitively, where were you at the end of the show? You said
Jaguars.
But you still have the Jags beating the Chiefs, too. So on Friday, when you do your pick, you're going to pick the Jags to beat the Chiefs.
Again, I think I reserve the right to change my mind. Why do I have to just stick with an original prediction? If
you've changed
I think
3 times.
inside this same show, barring breaking news that changes some dynamic of the game, you are held responsible to that, yes. You also picked the Charger in the AFC title game before the year. You have regularly picked the Chargers.
Oh, yeah. Nick,
I wouldn't say
Nick won't help.
I won't help you what?
Oh, I was going to pull up, but there's some Twitter evidence of you saying you like the Chargers, too. The text line's correct. Cody even retweeted a clip from your guys' very popular podcast that you guys do together.
It's always game day in Kansas
That
City,
podcast.
in which you say, now in fairness, that was on Thursday. What he's claiming to happen on Friday did happen on Friday. I
don't like these accusations being heard. And whatever happened to being a team, whatever happened to us having each other's backs?
You know what? I think the afternoon show claims that a lot, like him and Carrington and Rob. They're on a team. I don't know that we've ever claimed that as a group. I think, if anything, we have actually argued the opposite of that, largely as a group, that we are against each other at every turn.
So I just want to get one thing on the record here. You're saying right now we are not a team. So the next time that you, Cody, come up with some sort of plan that you hatch in a matter of, 15 seconds, there's Alex, usually, probably, definitely having to spend money for one of your little passion projects. I'm going to remind you at that moment. I'm going to remind you of this conversation that we're having right now.
You already don't support me in those endeavors. You already actively work against a team starting now that I'm in. And I'll back you up. You want to start being a team right now, we can be a team.
But, does being a team mean I have to blindly support any single idea you have?
That's what you're asking me of, because you picked the Chargers.
No, I'm just asking you this one time. I'm asking you this one time to just support me.
You don't feel supported enough?
No, I don't. I feel like I'm being attacked, and it's not right. And it's not fair for everything I've done for you guys. For everything I've done for this show. I've all on the line every day.
I think what would make it okay is if you just admitted that you chose it and you were wrong once. I thought the Vikings were going to go to the NFC title game. I was wrong.
Okay.
It happens. No big deal. I made a mistake.
Listen, guys. Part of being such a polarizer in this media landscape is sometimes you're going to say things a little controversial. And if you can't handle it, I would suggest just getting out of the kitchen.
Can't handle it?
That's
you were wrong. You can't handle being wrong.
No,
you know what?
Listen to you, man.
Even Emmanuel Acho,
you sound unhinged.
Who's kind of a blowhard.
You sound like Emmanuel Acho right now. You're screaming.
Emmanuel Acho will just go to the depths of the earth to defend horrid takes. You're defending your horrible takes rather than just admit being wrong once.
You know what? You sound like the guy at the bar on Saturday night trying to start a fight with Alex. You're just screaming and yelling and being bombastic. Let's just have a conversation. Whatever happened to just sitting down and having a civil discourse, huh? What's wrong? What's gotten into you? You've changed, man.
Since when?
I mean, lately.
Oh, you've noticed a change in me lately.
Yeah, and I don't like it. What happens when you get home and you're around your wife and kids?
What's that supposed to mean?
Is this the kind of father you are?
Oh, jeez.
You want to do that again?
It was a simple question.
I thought we were a family. Now you're attacking my family?
No, I don't want to be.
He's raising his voice again, though.
Glad you're not my dad. Gosh.
Like that guy at the bar.
You're just ripping the belt out of his jeans and saying
the difference is like that guy at the bar. I will fight you. That guy just meant it. I will physically fight you.
That is a threat.
Cody wants to fight Nick.
It's a threat, and I will be seeking HR during the commercial break. How somehow? See, this is beautiful. Somehow, Nick's noble notes. This is why Nick's notes so notable, Alex. Is I went from being the villain to the victim.
I think so. You did actually make him look better now. Everybody's going to forget that he picked the Chargers, and now they're going to remember you.
No, they're going to remember that he accused me of being an abusive father. That's what they're going to remember him for.
No, I asked if you were an abusive father. There's a big difference. There's a simple question.
Which I've answered many times on this show.
Does a non-abusive father wouldn't raise their voice like that? That's all I'm saying.
Ranting at you. It's different.
Wow, those are Nick's explosive notes. Man.
There's one guy in here who's blowing up. It ain't me.
Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red half hour, and the matchup is set for Saturday. We'll take a look at how we're feeling now that it's the Jags.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Royals first baseman / NFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino, this football season with Cody and Gold.
My Twitter is about to unload of football tweets. First Jets games that I have free on Sunday. It's go time.
610 Sports Radio.
Football fans can turn a loss into a win with the king of sportsbooks. Just place a single first touchdown score prop bet on any Monday or Thursday pro football game, and if your bet loses, you'll receive up to $25 back in free bets. This offer all season long. Wager confidently and take your game to the next level with BetMGM. Just log into your account or download the BetMGM app today and sign up today. Wager on any player to score that first touchdown in any Monday or Thursday pro football game. And again, if your bet misses, you'll get up to $25 back in free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Kansas only. New and existing customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Enjoy Medium Mondays at Old Shawnee Pizza. Watch the games and get any single topping medium pizza for only $10.99. Call or go to ShawneePizza.com today. Any single topping medium pizza for only $10.99. Only at Old Shawnee Pizza. 2 locations, Shawnee and Lenexa.
Don't miss the boats. It's the only boat show this year in Kansas City. The Overland Park Boat Show, January 26th through 29th. With recreational boats, boating accessories, and big winter savings on all brands of new 2023 personal watercraft, Tritoons, runabouts, high-performance boats, luxury yachts, and more. Register for a free $1,000 gas giveaway at the show. Get more info at OverlandParkBoatShow.com. The link to the Ozarks Marine Dealers Overland Park Boat Show, January 26th through 29th.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. Care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code FRIEND at checkout. That's harrys.com, code FRIEND. Enjoy.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs. You just bought a home in the suburbs, but no one told you about all the birds, specifically this one, who seems to be calling out Roy. Roy. But who
explain is Roy? And why doesn't he ever respond? Maybe just bird speak for save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto. I guess until Roy answers, we'll never know. For the Casualty Insurance Company, coverage provided in service by affiliates and third-party insurers.
This winter, there are COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. If it's been at least 2 months since your primary series or original booster, schedule your updated COVID-19 booster dose at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
At Anthony, we get the job done right the first time. That's why you know us as the technicians you can trust with your house keys. Right now, receive 50% off a new furnace when you purchase a new AC. Schedule online today at anthonyphce.com.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Chiefs Kingdom. This is Mitch Holtis, and welcome into the Chiefs Red Half Hour on Cody and Gold at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner, the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour, brought to you by Greenway Ford. It's a new day, a new way at the all-new Greenway Ford. We'll get to what I think was a scenario we laid out last offseason, and now it seems like it's got a chance to actually happen this go-around. It involves coaching carousel and a couple Chiefs assistants, so we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But we now know what's happening this weekend for the Chiefs. We already knew they were hosting a divisional round game, but we know the opponent. The Jags are going to come to town Saturday, 3:30 kickoff. Of course, you can hear the game over on 106.5 The Wolf. Despite the Chargers being the team to blow the lead and lose in epic fashion, which we could all enjoy, we will enjoy all offseason. Thank you, Brandon Staley.
There's no way anybody can choose them to win the division again next year, right?
Well, there'll be some idiot. But I still think the Chargers were the more dangerous team. Does that make sense? Like,
absolutely.
They're more talented. And so if you gave me the pick, Chargers or Jags, even after that great comeback and how great Trevor Lawrence played in the second half, I'm still happy they're playing the Jags.
Same.
And not the Chargers. I mean, I think you can still understand how clearly the Jags kind of are having a special type of season. The Jags locker room is clearly very tight. Doug Peterson has a firm grasp of that football team because a lot of teams could have just completely gone south after a devastating first half. When your starting quarterback is making interception after interception.
Or a devastating 3-7 start to the year. Like,
That
I mean,
too,
this is
that too, yeah.
the and I think he said it in the post. Trevor Lawrence. It's kind of indicative of their entire season. They have been down and out and gotten themselves down and out a bunch. Like on their own accord, not like somebody else put them there. Like they've buried themselves a couple times this year and had to dig themselves out. I don't love that about a playoff team because, like, a team you're facing, right? Doesn't that scare you a little bit about the Jags? Adversity is not a problem for them. And a lot of times I attribute that to the quarterback or the head coach. Things that we normally joke about Kansas City having a huge advantage on. And they still got the better coach, better quarterback. But the gap there, and especially in coach, is much better in favor of the Jaguars. And at quarterback, look, every year when we have to re-rank the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, if there's yet another quarterback who goes further in the postseason than Justin Herbert, we have to have a conversation. Now, Herbert still put up too many good numbers for too many years to probably leapfrog him over one single postseason game. But that's the thing. It's like the further you get, maybe you are getting at least the tougher playoff quarterback in Jacksonville. Because Herbert doesn't win big games. Doesn't win them against the Chiefs. He certainly didn't win this only playoff game he's ever been to. And he doesn't get himself to big games because they lose too many games they shouldn't.
It's the fact that I watch the Jaguars also defensively, and we spent, all three of us, a great deal of time talking about the Chargers defense and what they had done in the back half of the season. And for the first half of that game, you're looking at the Chargers defense, you're like, oh no, it's legit. It wasn't fluky, despite playing Malik Willis and Russell Wilson and Nick Foles during the stretch where the Chargers defense played great. I mean, they forced the 4 turnovers in the first half. You're like, oh no, this Chargers defense is legit. Look out. And the second half, the offense, you shouldn't be able to blow a lead, but also defensively, they couldn't get a stop.
They let up a touchdown on 4 consecutive drives.
They could not get a stop. That'll be, the momentum. The Chargers obviously have all the momentum. The job of Doug Peterson, of course, heading into this game Saturday is going to be trying, the emotions of that win, the Waffle House trip, all that has to go to the side now as they get ready to come to come to Arrowhead. But I like the Chiefs playing the Jags versus the Chargers, and the Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites. And I expect the Chiefs will be locked in after a bye week as Andy Reid post bye week, and we'll have the rest of the week to talk about the first matchup in which the Chiefs were one of the few teams. I can't remember the exact stat. We'll look it back up again when we talk about it. But I remember the day after the game, up until the Chiefs beating the Jags, when the Chiefs turned it over 3 times, it was like only one other time a team had won turning it over 3 times, and that was the Chiefs were one of those teams. So it was a weird game the first time they met.
I guess the question I would ask myself about the Jags is this game's carry happiness. What is the single thing that scares you the most about them? Because if I had asked that about, like the Chargers, right? Like, what's the thing? And we can even leave quarterback out of this. We understand that because Trevor Lawrence is good, that's semi the answer. And to me, I think it's Doug Peterson. I don't like how, from a playing perspective, they are organized. You said they have an identity. They have taken free agents that we've kind of mocked and turned them to very productive seasons, almost their best seasons they've had as professionals in Christian Kirk. And so the coaching level of this is he's creative and he wins games he shouldn't. They don't have to do against Tom Brady with Nick Foles at quarterback, but they did because he's creative. He's he seems to be as creative as Andy Reid. That is the thing that scares me the most. It's not Travis Etienne. It's not Kirk. Look, if we said the 49ers, my answer might be Christian McCaffrey. I know they faced him the first time and he got 7 carries, and each team answer would be a little bit. But maybe we've talked about how good Dave Chiefs and constantly burns them. But against the Jags, it's just the coach. No one on the strike fear into me. Not that. It's Peterson. He wins the games that he shouldn't.
So I'm with you on Peterson, and he's fared well against his disciples over the years, just record-wise, and obviously the most successful one has been Doug Peterson. Because he's got the Super Bowl with Philly. I'd say, though, and we'll have all week to talk about it, but we came out of that time really struggling against both of their edge rushers. And so while they did a good job that it didn't like to the game, Mahomes gets credit for that. But that was not a cakewalk for Andrew Wiley and Orlando Brown Jr. against that front four. And so that's going to be another area that's going to be interesting to watch on Saturday. If there's something that concerns me, that would still be it.
You know what it is, though? They played a lot better on the offensive line after that game.
They have.
That was pretty much, if anything, it was not the turning point. Those final 6 games of the year, that's when they were playing good offensive line play. Right now, their offensive line's playing well enough that's not even my immediate concern for the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs are a better football team than that game. So are the Jags, right? I mean, both teams are much better. The difference, though, we know Jerick McKinnon was not even, he was a pass blocking guy.
It was Isaiah Pacheco's first start.
Yeah, he wasn't being used in the passing game. McKinnon wasn't at that point in time. And so that's a difference. Also, Kadarius Toney and McCole Hardman, maybe we'll see it this weekend, could be on the field for the first time. That was not, together I should say, that was not something we've seen so far and certainly didn't see in that first matchup. So, look, there's a reason the Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites, okay? It doesn't guarantee a win, but there's a reason the Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites.
It's because they lost the turnover battle 3-0, and they still handily beat a team. They were up 17 points in the fourth quarter and had the ball. So, that game was done. Jacksonville was done. They didn't, and the Chiefs, by the way, if Jacksonville's answering this question, if you say, hey, take out Mahomes for a second, because we know that that's the thing you fear the most, Kelsey's probably an answer, right? Because he should he should strike fear into everyone. But they got 5 sacks against Jacksonville. So as much as you talked about the Jags having a good game on the defensive line in there and the tackles struggling a little bit, Patrick Mahomes averaged 7.6 yards per play in that game. So whatever their defensive line was doing didn't exactly slow them down. He had 4 touchdowns and 330 yards. The reason why the Jags couldn't score is because they gave up 5 sacks to the Chiefs' defensive line. And that is not when the Chiefs' defensive line was playing its best either. Now, they've been near the top for a majority of the year this year, and they've had several of these 5-sack games that have buoyed their numbers to making them the second most prolific sack team in the regular season this year. But it's I don't know. With the Jags, it's the coach. I'm worried Doug Peterson's got something up his sleeve, and I don't like it.
See, Yeah, I mean, to me, Andy Reid coming off a bye week, though, to me, alleviates that concern for me. Like, look what obviously, both coaches will have adjustments from the first matchup. There will be looks. I mean, we saw the smart play design on that 4th and 1 for Doug Peterson that really sealed the game or put him in position to go win the game. But obviously, they get stuff there. We're talking about playing the Chargers instead here in Kansas City. Instead, the 4th and 1, it was perfectly executed, perfectly blocked. ETN had an easy route to the sideline and ran it up to the 15-yard line or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, Jacksonville will it's not, if we would have talked about a month and a half ago, the potential playoff matchup in the divisional round for the Chiefs, I don't think anybody would have guessed the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they ended up winning the AFC South. The Chiefs ended up getting the number 1 seed, and we sit here, and we know on the other side looming is the Bills and Cincinnati, which, by the way, can I say that I saw a lot of this on social media. It's like, we can't look ahead. Look, the team can't look ahead. I can look ahead to the damn AFC title game, okay? Like the Chiefs can't look ahead to play in Cincinnati.
You have to be focused as a fan, or things will happen.
The fans talking about the AFC title game is not going to deter the Chiefs from winning or losing on Saturday. Okay, it is okay.
Where does it end, though? How far can you look ahead?
Nobody associated with the coach and
can we look ahead to the draft?
We can do that if you want. Yeah, Bink's already doing it.
I think the Chiefs should draft a running back in the first round.
Okay.
Well, they need to get a replacement for Clyde, and Jarek's getting long in the tooth.
Stop.
Well, you need at least a good runner. Who knows if Jarek's going to be able to come back? So maybe get Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama, I think, would be a steal at the end of the first round.
No,
it's a game changer.
No.
I think he would work perfect in this offense.
One thing I am so confident in saying is
I'm going to call for Brett Veach
that we will not have to worry about them drafting a first-round running back in the Brett Veach era again.
Can we run back Cody's comment there? Just I want to get that on the record. Clean audio.
I will call for Brett Veach to be fired if he takes a first-round running back this year. He's done an excellent job. He might be the second best, third best, first best GM in the entire league. If he drafts another first-round running back, then he deserves it.
It's fine. We're good. We got the audio, Cody. You can stop now.
That take is less idiotic than taking a running back in the first round.
Don't have to worry about them drafting a first-round running back for a very long time.
Actually, I kind of want to hear that one back again. You say that what you just said.
Me calling for Brett Veach is less idiotic than you suggesting they take a first-round running back. And I think the text line would agree with me.
Okay, I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I cannot wait for the day for Brett Veach's job.
In April, I said this year. I didn't eliminate it from any possibility.
How many guys have you said should be fired in the last week?
I don't know. Just the one, I think.
Staley.
Oh, yeah.
That was before this weekend. In fairness, now everybody is saying he should be fired.
Yeah, I was ahead of the curve.
You were ahead of the curve, I guess, on that one.
Cody,
so just the two, I think
there was somebody.
Can you imagine if Cody were like in a position of power, if he were like some sort of legislator or politician, what the unemployment rate would be in this country? It would be sky high.
That's how legislators work. They don't just fire people. They don't just have the ability.
Don't get so political. It was just
a business owner would make more sense.
Thinking of coaches, though, there is a report that the Tennessee Titans are requesting permission from the Chiefs to interview both Matt Nagy and Eric Bieniemy. The Titans moved on from Todd Downing, their offensive coordinator, so they have a vacancy there. Mike Vrabel's not going anywhere. He's one of the better coaches in the league. Obviously, their season ended in a disappointing fashion. Had some injuries, and then they lost to Jacksonville in what was essentially a playoff game. And so that's why the Jags are in the position that they are in. This is the route you and I had talked about last offseason. And, is it better if you're Eric Bieniemy to go be an OC as a play caller elsewhere, away from Andy Reid? And then what are people going to say? If you have success, what is the excuse going to be then for everybody else? You know what I mean? Is that the path you need to go? I think it's far more realistic EB would take the Titans gig than Matt Nagy. If I'm Matt Nagy, I'm sticking around.
I think Nagy came back specifically because he knew flying close to Mahomes is a great thing. He can always put back. People will forget some of the mistakes he made in Chicago, and instead they'll go back and be like, okay, with Andy Dalton and Mitch Trubisky, he made the playoffs twice? Forget all the bad, and they'll be like, he made the playoffs twice with Mitch Trubisky? Okay, maybe there's something there. That's what will happen. The problem with Eric Bieniemy is I fear this move would be a year too late. 2 years too late. It's unfortunate. We've made it very clear, and I guess I'll make it clear again. Eric Bieniemy has earned the right to be given a chance to be an NFL head coach somewhere. It's absurd that no one in the NFL has given him a chance. But does he have a better chance of becoming a head coach by leaving Kansas City and becoming an offensive coordinator somewhere else? Yeah, he does. Or you can just be the hottest offensive coordinator around and you can go team to team for taking a bigger check. getting a new challenge and moving on to the next thing. Because Mike Kafka is a perfect example of how going somewhere and making a mediocre quarterback look great
Daniel Jones
can buoy all of it. Mike Kafka's getting a job. If it's not this year, it's next.
Yeah, Daniel Jones having the best year of his career. Brad Daboll gets a lot of credit, but the play caller is Mike Kafka, and that's why he's going to get head coaching interviews. We said the minute he was hired last year with Kafka, we said, hey, man, if he can make Daniel Jones I think the exact quote, can he just make Daniel Jones look semi-decent?
And that's what he's done.
And he's done, even maybe more than that. Daniel Jones was great yesterday against Minnesota. Daniel Jones was fantastic. And they're going to probably have to give this guy a multi-year extension. You could argue whether or not that still is the right move, but that's just how it's going to go down in New York with Daniel Jones at this point.
He's turned himself into Alex Smithian. Like, I don't think that he still got to get the touchdown numbers up a little bit, but he doesn't turn it over. He's really good with his legs. He doesn't make mistakes. Like, you can win with that quarterback most of the time. That was Kafka's job. His job was not to turn him into Patrick Mahomes. His job was to make him do that. And the thing I would say about, like, the Titans job in particular is you probably can't ask for a more stable situation. Vrabel's a really smart head coach. He knows what he's doing. He will turn the keys of the offense over to you. He let Todd Downing run the show there, and he'll be the same.
Look,
the quarterback part is the only part I'd have some questions over. You only got Tannehill for 1 year, then what?
Yeah.
Like, you don't really want to go down the Dobbs or Malik Willis road. It's like you might be walking into a dangerous quarterback situation if you're Eric Bieniemy versus you could just go be the offensive coordinator for the Jets and, like, Derek Carr, which would be a favorable situation maybe to put yourself in if you're entertaining OC jobs that aren't in Kansas City.
Right, and I think the fact that this request is even out there tells you how people around the league feel about what either needs to happen or his standing in Kansas City. Let's not forget, it took a couple months after the season last year until Andy Reid had a sit-down visit with Bieniemy to find out, like, hey, is this going to work for us both going forward? Is this the best thing for you? Is it the best thing for us as an organization? That was up in the air for a month or so, if I remember right, after the season a year ago. And this go around, the fact that a Tennessee Titans team is basically requesting permission to interview a guy and give him the exact same job, except he'd be allowed to call the plays for Tennessee. That's the difference. It tells you, like, it's not this unheard of. Like someone mentioned, like, the idea that he has to, from the 816, the idea that he has to take a lateral move considering his success is asinine and
I don't think he should have to, but he might have to.
But other teams are obviously thinking it's a possibility that he would do it or that it's in play. Otherwise, no other offensive coordinator for a team is getting offered another team's OC job. You're right, that doesn't happen. But this is also a different situation because everybody knows to this point in time, Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach, but he hasn't. So maybe does he want to be a play caller or does he want to continue to stick around in Kansas City?
And here's what the teams see. They know this is like one of the few things they can pick on a little bit. They know how this has gone, as you point out with Eric Bieniemy. They know that there have been long conversations. They know that they had to let go of Mike Kafka, who they thought could be an offensive coordinator because nobody came and got Eric Bieniemy the way that they should. They know that Matt Nagy could take over as offensive coordinator tomorrow for Kansas City and would take over as offensive coordinator tomorrow for the Chiefs if Eric Bieniemy were to take another job. They sense weakness, if that makes sense. Not that Eric Bieniemy, but like there's an opening. And if you're this is credit to the Titans. If you are a smart NFL franchise, this is a great move. Trying to steal Eric Bieniemy, a widely respected offensive coordinator from the best offense in the NFL, is smart. Teddy, it's making those decisions wisely because you're like, well, we don't have an opening. We like Mike Vrabel. We feel very good about Mike Vrabel, but we need an offensive coordinator, and that guy's great. And if he'll come here, let's take a chance. And they're going to back up with the if he's not available, how about Nagy? Because I think in this case, they really actually do want Bieniemy. They think, as you've pointed out, they got a better chance at Bieniemy. The text line's not wrong. Nobody on this show thinks that Eric Bieniemy should have to take a lateral move. But there is, I will say, an argument that it's not lateral. Because you pointed out, if you're going to call plays, is it? If you are the person that people think is the reason the offense is successful, is it? Like Jesse Newell put an article today on the Star, talking to teams around the league and talking about how the Chiefs are seen as the leader of innovation in the entire NFL. And that article is written from the frame mind of pretty much everyone in the league is like, look at Andy, he's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Getting out of that shadow hasn't been able to be accomplished by I know other guys have, right? Other guys have managed to do it. Nagy, Kafka, Peterson. For EB, they're just not letting him out.
If I'm the Steelers, I'm also requesting an interview with Eric Bieniemy. I think that would be their offensive coordinator hasn't been fired yet. That's probably why. Matt Canada is horrific. as a terrible play caller for the Steelers. You got a young quarterback there if you're Kenny Pickett. If I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm looking at if the Tennessee's going to do this, I would offer the same type of situation where bring in Eric Bieniemy, be the offensive coordinator for your young quarterback that you already have in place that you saw some glimpses.
Make Kenny Pickett look good.
You got more playmakers. If you're EB, you got more playmakers to work with in Pittsburgh. At the wide, you look at the wide receiver core and you
sure.
The running
and again, it's Mike Tomlin in one of the most stable organizations in the entire NFL.
So we'll see if the Chiefs. I mean, we haven't seen if they've granted permission. They've requested. We haven't seen if they've granted. I'm assuming
they should.
As long if basically you grant you grant it if both Matt Nagy and Eric Bieniemy have interest in the gig, then you grant it. If they don't have any interest, then you don't grant it, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, from the Chiefs' perspective, you don't want to be viewed as holding anyone back. You can grant permission; they just do it. Like I think if I were EB, I would suggest doing it, taking the interview.
Well, he certainly has had plenty of interviews.
You don't have to take the job. And this is a different kind of interview, in my opinion, because I'll tell you right now, if they're interviewing for the OC job, they'll give it to you. So really, it's up to you to decide if you want it. Listen to another organization sell you on why you should be there. He's the third longest tenured offensive coordinator in the NFL. Like, it's changing is not crazy. Like, you look at like Wink Martindale, who is also getting a head coaching interview opportunity because he left his long-standing defensive coordinator job, went to a different defense and made them look really good. And the Colts won't hire him, but will at least give him an interview because they're like, you know what? Turns out, no matter where he goes, he makes the defense look good. That's, if you're Eric Bieniemy, that is, not that there's much, that's the only thing left you can do. That's the only, it sucks. It sucks that he has to do it, but it's, it is taking the interview, I think, is the right move for EB, right? We've talked about what jobs he should or shouldn't take. I remember you saying he shouldn't take the Colorado job, right?
Yeah, this a year ago or whatever. It's just funny now to look at Deion's got the job now. It's just kind of crazy. If you would have told me a year ago, like, yeah, don't take the Deion's going to eventually be the head coach there, you guys would have been like, what the hell are you talking about? And here we are, and Deion's the head coach of Colorado.
Yeah, I don't think I would have seen that coming. But also, EB wouldn't have. That's not the way he would have done the Colorado job.
With all due respect to him, like, it's just Deion. It's a whole different ball game with him. Like, and the transfer portal and what Deion's doing. It's right now as far as getting talent in there.
Are you fascinated to see if this works?
I'm talking about Deion in Colorado.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm fascinated by it. Yeah,
because it worked, but like it's such a small level. It's like, oh, cool, you made them good at the low levels of college football.
Look, if you're Deion, the talent's all coming in, so they're going to be it's going to be the most talented Colorado roster in decades,
been a while.
Right?
And in college, you don't have to be as good of a coach, like a coach from an X's and O's standpoint.
So if he has success in the next 2 or 3 years, and by success, I'm talking like obviously bowl games. Nobody's saying he needs to win a Pac-12 championship.
8-9 win games.
Then that to me is where he gets the big opportunity in the SEC. Like he wasn't going to go from Jackson State to LSU. It just wasn't going to happen. You go to Colorado, have success for a couple of years, which is what he's I think possibly going to have. We'll see. And then you do that there, you will have SEC jobs opening up, and that will be fun as well. So we'll see. I'm fascinated.
And it works for Colorado because they will make themselves not a laughingstock anymore.
Yeah.
They might go back to being one, but at least at that time they wouldn't have been.
That's
right?
you sure Colorado Buffaloes, Cody?
It'd be nice if they weren't. After Kansas got better, they are now the worst Power 5 program.
That's right, man. You guys can take that mantle.
Kansas had it for a while. They were the champs there for a bit.
Let your Buffs have that, man.
Well, they have it. I mean, I don't know what it's going to turn into this year.
Awesome. But again, I keep hearing Boulder's a great city. Great city.
I agree. It is a great city. And I hope that Colorado wins under Deion Sanders.
All right, that's the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Coming up next, we'll get to what's trending and back into one of the great moments from the weekend. Thank you, LA.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
If you've been under the weather, you get that, sick feeling, eyes watering a little bit. And in the past, those were just automatic days where I was going to struggle with itchy eyes, maybe because my contacts were in, or just avoiding the contacts altogether and having to wear glasses, which is something I just hated to do. But fortunately, as you guys know, I don't use glasses anymore. I don't use contacts anymore, and it's all thanks to DuraVision. Thanks to my LASIK vision correction that allows me that freedom to just wake up and see with my own two eyes. And DuraVision was my choice because they're the best in Kansas City, the most experienced with over 65,000 vision correction procedures performed. And to kick off the new year, DuraVision is offering savings up to $1,000 on LASIK. That's $1,000 worth of savings that's normally reserved just for family members, but DuraVision is extending that to friends and family for a limited time only. You can visit DuraVision.com or call 913-491-3330 for your free consultation and to save up to $1,000 on LASIK. And be sure to tell them Gold from 610 Sports Radio sent you.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
If you want to save money and start the year right, Staples has you covered.
I need everything to restock my business. File folders, break room supplies, even business cards.
Staples has you covered with big savings on everything you need for your home or office. And now at Staples, Rewards members get $30 back via Staples Store Bonus when they spend $100. That's $30 to use toward everything from ink to tech. Save big right now at Staples, the working and learning store. Rewards members only. Store bonus redeemable in-store only. Offer ends 1/21.
Hey everybody, this is Andrew Filipponi here, bringing you the parlay of the day, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Last week, all you heard was doom and gloom about the Cowboys. Dak stinks, McCarthy is done. I'm not buying it. There's a reason Dallas is favored. So here's my Cowboys parlay tonight. Dallas -2.5, Dak over passing yards, Gallup over receiving yards, Lamb over receiving yards, Elliott over rushing yards, Pollard over rushing yards. 6 legs, $20, wins you more than $500. Ride with the Cowboys tonight. That's it for the parlay of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today and make every moment more with America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Time for a new furnace? How about a free one? That's right. Buy a new air conditioner and get the furnace for free. Book your experts from Energy Experts Heating and Cooling today at EnergyExpertsKC.com. That's EnergyExpertsKC.com.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon till 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue KC. Live healthy with Blue KC on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Upfield, producer of Country Crock and I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, is seeking experienced manufacturing employees. Pay starts at $20.52 per hour. Overtime is paid after 8 hours a day. Excellent benefits, including 13 paid holidays. Go to their on-site hiring fair January 18th and 19th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Upfield, 2780 West 159th Street, New Century, Kansas, 66083, or apply today at upfield.com/careers. Must be available to work nights, weekends, some holidays, and overtime as required.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
For real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Wendy's knows cold and soggy fries are the worst.
So soggy.
That's why we're serving up hot and crispy fries all day, every day.
And all night.
until close.
With natural cut potatoes, sea salted to perfection.
Show me that potato skin.
Wendy's hot and crispy aren't like other fries. We're your dream fry. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's hot and crispy fries.
Guaranteed to be hot and crispy. If yours aren't, bring them back and we'll replace them.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. MJ Melendez and Michael Massey of the Royals host Cody and Gold starting at 1 o'clock. Live from Rally House in Oak Park on 610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Station. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending, of course, now we know the opponent for the Chiefs. They're going to host the Jacksonville Jaguars Saturday afternoon, 3:30 kickoff from Arrowhead. It's the 1-seed Chiefs versus the 4-seed AFC South champion Jacksonville Jaguars, who had that great win over the Chargers. We'll talk more about Brandon Staley and the Chargers after what's trending. But we know that's one AFC game, and then the other one will be Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. That'll be the Bills and the Bengals. So even though the games were way closer, the way everybody thought the AFC bracket would go in Wild Card Weekend actually ended up going that way. I mean, people maybe thought the Chargers, but in terms of pure seeding, right, all the top seeds won on the AFC side.
Same thing as always. The young quarterbacks of the AFC dominate. Lawrence, Burrow, Mahomes, and Allen. Like, if you run a TV market, that feels like the dream situation. 4 quarterbacks who were all taken in the top 10 of the NFL draft, all playing against single round. You know, like, that's dream stuff.
Do you think the Chiefs, no matter what, would have been in that early Saturday window? Because
I think the Chargers could have pushed their slot. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
See, I think as long as
LA market,
Cincinnati and Buffalo, as long as that always was going to be that was
losing to that.
That was going to get the Sunday afternoon or Saturday night. Like, to me, it was going to be one of those two. And then once the Giants and Philadelphia matched up, they're like, that's going New York, Philly market Saturday night.
Yeah, I did feel like you were losing that. I thought there was a chance that Sunday night game you might still beat them out if it was Chargers. But probably not. In the end, you were probably just going to end up on that Saturday slot. Next up on What's Trending, the AP Top 25 out. Missouri, no longer in the Top 25. K-State falls to number 13. They lost to TCU over the weekend, 82-68. Missouri's now lost 3 in a row. They lost to Florida, 73-64. But KU keeps winning. Beat Iowa State on Saturday in a close one, 62-60. Obviously, KU and K-State will take on each other tomorrow. That'll be 2 versus 13 based on the current AP rankings.
A wild atmosphere at Bramlage tomorrow night. No question about that. And KU continues to find ways to win out on the field. It's close games, but they continue. Like,
when they're a sweat, man.
When they're down at Allen Fieldhouse, continues to be a great opportunity to make some money betting them when they're down, and it happened again on Saturday as well. Next up on What's Trending.
Did you make a bet for Carrington?
I didn't. He did try to get me to make a bet for him for Jacksonville
again
on Saturday night.
Even after this, he tried to get you to bet again?
It did. But Jags plus 2.5, Jags money line ended up hitting. Never a doubt, right? But no, he wanted me to make a bet in our group chat. You were in the same group chat on Saturday night, and I was like, yeah, I'm not making the bet. On call. I'm not on call. Not happening. Move to Kansas. Or legalize
it. Or wait
it.
for Missouri to legalize it.
Mm-hmm. Tonight, final wild card game. Bucks, Cowboys. Bucks 2.5-point dogs to the Cowboys. Dallas, of course, coming off a bad performance against Washington last week. But Tom Brady, either way, it's interesting because of the Tom Brady factor. Tom Brady either looks great and like, here we go again, which we haven't seen any of that really this year other than 2-minute warning, or it's like, wow, Tom Brady bounced in wild card weekend for maybe the first time in his career? Something like that. He's never lost to the Cowboys also. And then on the flip side, Mike McCarthy, if he somehow loses this game, then people are going to be calling for his head. So there's a lot of implications storyline-wise with a win or a loss for either team tonight. But I do like the Cowboys to win tonight.
All football reasons mean the Cowboys win by 30. The Tom Brady reasons mean the Bucks win for no reason.
Fair enough.
Next up on What's Trending, not that it wasn't expected, but it is official. C.J. Stroud has officially declared for the NFL Draft. Most draft experts predict him to go in the top 10. I think as it sits right now, people most think Bryce Young's still going first, right? But C.J. Stroud expected to be at least somewhere in the top 10 in the upcoming NFL Draft. I bet he would have made a ton of money to go back to Ohio State in NIL deals, but still.
Yeah, but
when you're going to be a top 10 NFL draft pick, you got to go.
Well, he might be top 3. There's no way they could have found, the NIL money would have had to been completely outrageous.
Astronomical.
For it to make sense for him, and also knowing the injury risk of staying in college. Bryce Young is the favorite to be the first pick, minus 125 in the draft. C.J. Stroud has the second best odds to be the number 1 overall pick. And then Jalen Carter, 5-1. Will Anderson, 5-1. Will Levis, about 8-1. Those are the favorites right now to be the number 1 overall
Will Levis is going to have his Mac Jones moment. Remember when they were like, the Niners really love Mac Jones at 2.
I think we've already seen the odds shift a little bit.
Are you sure?
Like, well, he's really impressive in the interview process.
Him? It's going to be that
Good
one?
leader. Work ethic.
I like it. It's just how wrong every team is. You trade 1 million picks and you take Trey Lance, and then it turns out you got a better pick with like the dead last pick in the draft.
That's why it's so tough,
You
man.
did better with that one than when you gave up all those picks for the other guy.
That's why it's so tough to find franchise quarterback. We all in Kansas City. It took 20 plus, 30 plus years to find one. You know, I mean, that's you didn't try to draft one. I mean, this is the challenge, and why once you have that guy, it makes your life so much easier to try to actually go and win a championship. Lastly, on what's trending, don't forget this Friday we'll get set for the playoffs this week. Red Friday show, we're going to be out at Rally House from 10 to 2. Rally House in Overland Park, right around 95th and Quivira, the Oak Park location. Michael Massey and MJ Melendez of the Royals going to join us and actually co-host the show for the 1 o'clock hour, commercial free. So come on out. We hope to see you guys there on Friday afternoon, and it'll be good to talk to MJ Melendez, Michael Massey. I know they're excited to talk some football with us, and before we know it, they'll be heading to spring training themselves. I know they'll be heading to the Chiefs game themselves on Saturday afternoon, too.
Well, and, we think about the young Royals. Most of these guys got called up either at the beginning of the year or in the middle of the year in Massey's case. You have a chance to meet them. This is your chance to meet them. They'll be with us for an entire hour from 1 until 2. As we've said, commercial-free that entire stretch. So we're really looking forward to seeing everybody out at Rally House. Now it's going to be the day before the game. I feel that's like high school, but like the pep rally, like
Red
almost
Friday,
right there. Red Friday before a Saturday playoff game. They'll be first on the docket again. First up.
That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. And because the Chiefs are playing on Saturday, you'll hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes tomorrow at 11:45. Obviously, normally we would hear from Andy right around now. That's why you're not hearing from him. Schedule gets moved around with the Saturday game. So tomorrow, 11:45, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We'll get to all 32 in the NFL here in about 8 minutes or so. But we mentioned what's trending, the Chargers losing to Jacksonville and Brandon Staley and his team blowing one of the biggest leads in playoff history. They had a 27-0 lead, and of course, Trevor Lawrence in the second half was great, and they could not be stopped offensively in the second half. They get the game-winning field goal, 31-30, the final score. That's why the Jags are coming to Kansas City on Saturday afternoon, and it was one of the most enjoyable experiences watching that game, because if you're a Chiefs fan, you guys know time and time again, year after year, the Chargers have been the team that everybody says is going to overtake the Chiefs more than anybody else in this division. And yeah, they made the playoffs, won 11 games. Not a bad season. A lot of injuries, okay. But they looked dominant in the first half. Like,
4 turnovers. Asante Samuel Jr.'s got 3 picks.
And in one game, in one half, they went back to being the L.A. Chargers and actually the San Diego Chargers.
Is that the most chargering they've ever chargered? I mean, is that the maximum version?
It has to be. I mean, there have been some seasons where the division lead was getting interesting and then they crapped down their leg. You know, so we've had that. But in one game, man, your third biggest playoff comeback ever. I mean, yes, I know the Chiefs have blown their fair share of playoff leads. We know this.
They didn't have Justin Herbert at quarterback. They had a pretty good one in Alex Smith.
They did. But that was so enjoyable. Like, the Jags get a ton of credit, of course, for coming back, but the Chargers, really? That happened? Oh, I love it.
Who do you put it on the most? I think I'm going to put it on
Staley, man.
I think I'm going to put it on Herbert.
No, see, I don't think that's fair to Herbert.
Why? What do you mean?
All
he had to do was score a damn field goal. We weren't asking that much
you're
for
just
him.
You're just trying to be shocking right now.
I do put more.
So okay,
really.
Real quick, Brandon Staley. The reason why I put on Staley, a couple reasons. You mentioned the field goal. Let's not forget Cameron Dicker, whatever.
Yeah,
missed the field goal. Otherwise, there's your 3 you were looking for. So, like, he did get them in field goal range. He missed the field goal. I'm not putting on the kicker, but I'm just saying, like, let's not forget he missed.
He did.
Brandon Staley in the second half ran the ball under 6 times.
Yeah, which when you have a 27-point lead,
which I understand it was 27-7 at halftime, but still, okay, you get the point.
20-point lead.
On the ball, that's been an issue throughout this season as well. How you
didn't have Mike Williams available because of the bad coaching decision the week before.
Coaching malpractice the week before. You had lost control of your team. I mean, Joey Bosa's out there getting personal foul penalties, throwing his helmet on the ground.
You're picking it up and he's throwing it again?
Yeah, like lost it. So no. That is more, if we're doing the pie chart of blame for the Chargers' loss, Brandon Staley's getting north of 65% of it for me.
Herbert wasn't good in that game. completed less than 60% of his passes. He looked off for majority of it. And the reason why I really do consider him a big part of the problem in that game yesterday is he is not good in crunch time. I mean, look at the evidence at this point, Gold. Like, I'm not saying he's never had a game-winning drive or doesn't go back, but like by comparison, the Mahomes, Allen, Burrow part, man, you see it. Yeah. You see the killer instinct, that they're out for blood, that they're not going to let this happen on their watch no matter what that guy is doing. Like, again, nobody bats 100%. Nobody loses 100% of those games. But I feel like there is a noticeable trend in these games in the big spot. Like, he starts to get tight. He plays tight. He makes worse decisions in these moments. He does not play his best under duress. He plays his best when things are going great.
Yeah, I mean, and usually the really great ones, to your point, you listed off guys like Mahomes and Brady and even Joe Burrow right now. Josh Allen to that extent, too. Where when they're angry, like they're ticked off at themselves, they do play their best. It seems like it is the opposite for Justin Herbert for whatever reason, and that is problematic. But look, I'm not saying Herbert's no blame whatsoever. Or blameless, yeah, thank you.
And I'm not saying Staley is either.
Yeah, but if you're telling me today that you think Brandon Staley should be fired, and we both be
that's
surprised,
a culmination. But yeah,
then like how are we not saying that he gets most of that blame? Because if he doesn't give most of the blame, then how can you tell me he should be fired?
You know why I feel like Staley needs to be fired is I don't think he believes in himself right now. He's questioning all of it. He keeps going back, like in the middle of games, he's like changing decisions that don't seem to need to be changed. He was the most aggressive coach in the NFL last year. Now he's not. He can't seem to decide what he wants to be.
Yeah,
and at the very least, you have to have conviction in what you're doing. You have to decide that this is who you are. This is who you are as a coach. This is your philosophy. It could end up being wrong, but changing your philosophy constantly is not doing anyone any good. It's just not.
I don't think he's getting fired, though.
No, I don't either.
You know, because
I read Jim Trotter had like a really good article. He's covered the team for a really long time about he thinks it's unfair to call them cheap. I don't know that that's unfair, but the rest of it is logical in the sense that why I think Staley will keep his job.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that they're cheap. It's just by NFL standards with owners, that ownership group doesn't have as much money as others. You know, he's not David Tepper. He's not the Walton family. And so you're going to pay, let's say, I don't know, I'm just throwing out $12 million to say goodbye to Staley, let's just say. And then you're going to go pay Sean Payton on a 4 or 5 year deal that's going to make him probably one of the top 3 highest paid coaches in football. And you're going to give up draft capital. And then, as you said, at some point, you're going to have to put money in escrow for Justin Herbert's new deal. Like, is that the ownership group that's willing to do that? And it doesn't seem like that maybe is the case. I mean, we already know the Raiders, they're not firing Josh McDaniels in large part because they can't afford to fire him. So this happens. I mean, it just happens that 2 of the owners are in the AFC West.
This is great news for Kansas City.
Oh, Brandon Staley coming back versus them hiring Sean Payton.
That's how I know. Yeah. That's how I know he should be fired. When we're all like, "Yay, Staley's coming back!"
Well, how can you not feel?
Not a threat.
How can you not feel good about it after what we just saw the last 2 weeks play out for the Chargers? And
I like that guy at the bar. This guy, Staley, not a threat. That guy was a threat, I think.
Yeah,
I think he was threatening you.
Oh, he was definitely threatening me. Yeah, definitely threatening
I don't think he went as far to say, like, let's fight, right? It never got that far. But he would have welcomed a fight.
Yeah, we can bring up the story again at some point if you would like, because people that are just tuning in have no idea what you're talking about, I think, right now. But that guy was begging me to respond back, I think. Yes, you were correct.
Yeah, I think he wanted to fight.
I wonder how he thought that would have ended for him. Like, did he think that if he whooped your ass, then like those girls would have went home with him?
I don't know. You know.
Wow, what a hunk! Starting a random bar fight. We love you.
Some people are idiots for
Let's do it.
A reason, man. You know.
That's exactly what that guy thought was going to happen. He was going to kick Alex's ass and he'd be like, you know what? You're a real man.
He's seen too
Not
many
this guy.
He's seen too many movies.
You don't think there's like a girl who would be interested in? Someone would be like, oh, I want the guy who can kick the other guy's ass. There's like a girl, right?
Yeah, but it's a very
low
specific,
probability, but
well, it's a very specific type of girl that I'm picturing. She probably has a barbed wire tattoo around her bicep.
Is the girl you went on a date with, does she have a barbed wire tattoo?
I mean, I guess I don't know 100%, but no, I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say
I mean,
no.
you'd seen her on the bicep. I'm assuming her arms were exposed. You would have seen, a barbed wire tattoo.
Yeah. Cody.
It sounds weird when I assume her arms were exposed.
I was just having a conversation.
You weren't, though.
We'll talk more about.
This is how I talk.
Saturday night and very close to a bar fight. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show to fill people in more on what Cody is referencing from Saturday night, if you would like. But in the meantime, let's get to all 32 in the NFL. And it's presented by Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. I mean, this kind of is a carryover from the Brandon Staley conversation. It wasn't just him, man. The whole weekend was a reminder of how coaching, yes, is magnified in the playoffs, and how you better have a coach you feel confident in. Look, we've been critical last year AFC title game with some of the issues with Andy Reid. But, man, oh, man, you'll take Andy Reid over any of these other guys that coached this past weekend in a heartbeat based off of some of the lack of time management. Some of the stuff Andy's been criticized in the past that it's gotten a lot better at, I think.
It was like way worse than
it was
normal.
Awful. Get called in at times. Mike McDaniel, Brandon Staley, Sean McDermott, even in a win, there was some problems with that. I mean, it was the whole weekend. The whole weekend it was problematic.
Harbaugh blew like 2 minutes of game clock at the end of a close game of the division rival.
The Ravens had the ball at their opponent's 47-yard line, and they took their sweet-ass time, let 30 seconds run off the clock.
So they had to throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was awful. And Harbaugh, I think Harbaugh is still one of the better coaches in the league.
What happened? Did everyone just collectively decide we don't care about game management this weekend? Because it was across the board, right? Like universal. Everyone stunk. I don't know if that means it's going to change in this following, but it felt like, I guess I'm assuming that's coming again tonight, because that felt like one of the overwhelming themes of this weekend, right?
I mean, with Todd Bowles and Mike
coaches didn't know how any of it worked.
With Todd Bowles and Mike McCarthy coaching tonight, there is a very good chance of some coaching malpractice. That is true. Yes.
Oh, perfect. It'll bleed right into the next thing. One of there was a lot of close games. The only game that ended up being a blowout was the 49ers. And because of that, and the way that Brock Purdy performed, you're out. The 49ers are out of the Trey Lance business. They got to trade him.
Trade him for what?
It's done.
To who?
To whoever will give you something.
Legit question. Who would, if you're like a GM?
Look, I'll tell you right now.
Trey
Lance was a top 5 pick in the NFL. If I were the Raiders, if I were the Jets, and maybe it's not those teams because they think they have established rosters, but if I was a team looking for a quarterback and they take a 3rd-round pick for Trey Lance, I'd give it. I know
this is the same thing as the Jordan Love discussion, though.
To a point, I understand.
It's just that Lance was drafted higher. That's the only difference. That's the only difference.
And it doesn't seem like they chose against Lance because Jordan Love. It seemed pretty clear they chose Rodgers because they didn't believe in Jordan Love. Trey Lance just got hurt. They clearly were going to go with Trey Lance. They liked Trey Lance. That was their choice. Over Jimmy Garoppolo, over Purdy, that was their guy. The problem is they got it too right. And Brock Purdy's winning a ton of games, and this fit works. And it's another rookie quarterback on a rookie deal you can buy 4 years with. You burned 2 with Trey Lance. You burned 1 to your own fault by letting Jimmy G start for an entire year, and then you got hurt the second year. You got 2 years left to runway on Trey Lance. You got 4 years with Brock Purdy, and he looks like the goods. And
Are you sure? Because there were a couple times in that game where it looked like a guy who was the last pick in the draft, especially early in that game.
In the first half. The second half, he was great.
And this is against one of the league's worst defenses.
I know, but in the end...
Is one game enough to know that the last Mr. Irrelevant is all of a sudden a franchise quarterback?
What do you do then? Do you just stick them? I'm just curious, would your plan just be put them in training camp together and compete?
I think you...
See who wins the job?
Yeah, I think you come back next year and say, hey, great job, Brock, but also... you were the last pick in the draft for a reason. We're going to go ahead and maybe kick around the 2nd overall pick for another year.
Trey Lance is obviously the more athletic guy. It's not even close in terms of the actual skill set.
And
right?
Christian McCaffrey's
in that system
showing up helps.
It's kind of weird because what was the big knock on Jimmy G for a while? Is okay, yeah, he can win a lot of games, but he's not the guy that's going to win a Super Bowl, even though he made it to a Super Bowl. Trey Lance, they were like, oh, this guy can take our offense to a whole nother level. Brock Purdy is more likely to be Jimmy Garoppolo than Trey Lance.
I know, but at the same time, Brock Purdy is only 1 touchdown shy of Jimmy G's entire postseason numbers.
Yeah, but you told
1 touchdown.
Correct, but you told me time and time again that Jimmy Garoppolo is not a very good quarterback. So you're like, so that's not the bar that we're trying to clear
I don't think
here.
it's that crazy that he's got a chance to be better than Jimmy G because we've already stated where we think, and they almost won a Super Bowl with Jimmy G.
There's got to be a GM though that if you're saying trade Trey Lance. then you need to know, is there another GM out there that fell in love with him during the draft process 2 years ago that also happens to be a team that has the draft assets that also is willing to take that risk? Like, Chris Ballard can't trade for Trey Lance.
No, but if Mike Vrabel...
can you imagine if Chris Ballard goes and trades for Trey Lance? He can't be the GM to do that, I don't think.
No, but if Mike Vrabel, let's say, they can save $18 million by cutting Ryan Tannehill. If they were a big, huge Trey Lance fan.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they'll cough up for a third, do it. Do it. Like right now, that is a time, or if you're one of those teams that is too far away from the top quarterback spots, like the amount it will cost you to take the chance. Because in the end, Trey Lance is still the number 2 overall pick. And the reason he's not on the field is because everyone thinks he stinks.
Carolina Panthers?
To me, it's not the same as but to me, it's just not the same as those other quarterbacks where, like, it was clear that the reason they had fallen out of favor with Josh Rosen or Jordan Love. They had fallen out of favor because the teams who had him didn't think they could play quarterback.
Also,
that wasn't the case with Trey.
That was also when by the time they came in, a different regime. It was. Like, at least the head coach. The GM was the same for the Cardinals, but Kliff came in and was like, yeah, Josh Rosen's not the guy I want. I want Kyler.
And he was right. Rosen stinks.
He did, yeah. Rosen's a backup or not even in the league or something. I don't know. Whereas, let's not forget, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they both were there when they drafted Trey Lance. So it is a little bit different in that regard.
You know, it'd be an interesting one? Miami. Only because if they're going to move on from Tua because of the health stuff, how much did Mike McDaniel like Trey Lance? Only because of the connection.
Sure.
So only a little. I would say a little bit of doom, no gloom. Alex provided quite a bit of doom there, just talking about how all the coaches stink.
I was talking about
Cody was okay. Cody was kind of propping up Mr. Irrelevant. So, in his stead of gloom, I will bring it with the Minnesota Vikings. I just want to take a moment to sit here and remember what happened between the Vikings and the Giants, specifically Kirk Cousins. Great stat line. Man, if you just look at the box score.
Yesterday. You actually did.
Played great. You played great. 31 of 39, completed 79% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, interceptions. Phenomenal game from Kirk Cousins. But as has always been the case across the course of his career, he was awful when it mattered most.
He threw a 3-yard
check down.
Threw a
3-yard check down with the game on the line. And I just want to remember, from now until the end of time, that is, has been, and will always be who Kirk Cousins is. He'll win you 10 games. He'll win you 11 games.
He'll get 4,000 yards.
He'll get 4,000 yards. He'll throw for 30 touchdowns. The stats are going to look good. But when it's nut-cutting time, that guy cannot make a play to save his life because he just doesn't. He's not wired like that. And that's okay. That's fine. There's a spot for Kirk Cousins. He will always have a job as a starting quarterback. He's like Derek Carr on cocaine, right? It's fun at times, but often it's going to leave you feeling sick and regretful. And that's how the Vikings are feeling. He has never
that drive. He actually was great yesterday, though.
That's phenomenal.
I'm just telling you, though. We're acting like he was awful yesterday.
No, it's that moment, it's that decision that he always makes.
When you need him to make a big play at the end of the game,
and with Kirk Cousins,
he is not going to be able to do it because he doesn't throw to the sticks. He's not one of those guys that says, you know what, I got to make a play right here. He's like, better get the ball out of my hands. I don't know what's going on. And he throws a 3-yard check down to T.J. Hawkinson.
Inexcusable pass. I'm just saying, with Kirk Cousins also, he hasn't done himself any favors anyway. Not just you, Nick, but everybody's waiting to pounce on Kirk Cousins for that one moment anyway.
Easy target.
He's a very easy target. But, you can't throw 5 yards behind him.
Speaking of easy targets, that was not an easy target because T.J. Hawkinson was covered. He was blanketed, some would say. But basically every other – this is the funniest part.
What if you broke 8 tackles?
If you see, afterwards, they always come out with the plays, the dots that show all the routes that were made. Yeah. Every single other receiver that ran a route on that play was running beyond the sticks. So not to say that any of them are open or that any of them would have caught the ball, but –
see, this is where I'm like,
T.J. Hawkinson. Those are the only players that would have given you a chance to get a first down.
I get it. But also, if I'm looking at that play, too, T.J. Hawkinson gets some blame. What the hell are you running a route 5 yards below?
And that's probably the play. That's probably the play call.
There's no
He's
way.
a decoy.
There's no way.
It's not going to throw it to me.
That's probably what there's a reason why they run at different levels. It's to manipulate zone defense and try to create opportunities down the field. And Kirk Cousins is nah, let me take the easy 3 here and we can call it a season.
It's every time with him. I think what it is maybe whoever is his coach. Moving forward, it'll be Kevin O'Connell. No, I know. I just meant whoever his coach is let's say he doesn't end up with the Vikings. If it is ever 4th down, when you're in his head, so you'd be like, hey, dummy, it is 4th down. You have to throw it beyond the sticks. you have to try.
And honestly, like I feel like if you look at the
because Derek Carr does that too.
Well, yes, and I think that is not the only way, but it's one of the easiest marks between the great ones and the average ones. Is the great ones, they don't know, not to say they always convert on fourth down, but like Mahomes and Burrow and Allen, Brady, if it's fourth down, they are throwing to the sticks. It may be an incompletion.
They will heave it 50 yards in the air just as long as it's past the marker.
And Alex Smith, like, I know we love Alex Smith, but like he was the king of that in Kansas City as well. 3rd and 10, here's a little 4-yard check down, get the completion percentage up, and send the punting unit on. You can't really do that at the end of the game, which Kirk Cousins has made a career of.
No, look, I get it, especially now in Kansas City where we have Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league. Like, we are grading everybody on this Mahomes scale. And so anybody that's not Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, or I would have said Herbert, which I still think he's pretty damn good. We're acting as if, like, these other guys just aren't any good.
Justin Herbert would have thrown to the
sticks. We're acting like any of these guys aren't any good. Like, that's the only thing. Like, there's a reason why these guys are, as we always say, are elite, because there's only a few of them. You're not like... Not if we were all like, man, Kirk Cousins, he's almost just as good as Mahomes. Well, then Mahomes wouldn't be that special.
I'm just saying, all I'm saying is I would rather be Cody's son than be a Vikings fan.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
That's twice today you've questioned his parenting. I think that was a questioning of the parenting right there. Again, that's twice.
That's not what I said.
You actually.
There were so many other ways you could have said it. Like I would have said, I want Kirk Cousins' ability, but Ryan Fitzpatrick's brain. Like I want him to just be hyper aggressive for no reason.
That's your way of saying it.
Nick
and then you have questioned my parent for the 2nd time in the show.
That's not what I said.
10th time in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I just said I don't want you to be.
You know what?
parent.
I'm glad that you haven't procreated at all. I'm glad you don't have any kids.
I will someday.
And I hope it stays that way forever.
I will someday. And then my kid's gonna be so strong and athletic. He's gonna come to your house and dunk on you. Yeah.
Nick, I think, had the gloomiest all 32. By the way, presented by Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling.
No,
and
in a way that was actually nice of me to highlight how great Chiefs fans have it. That's what I was really trying to say.
That was the point of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Coming up next, though, there was one game in particular where we saw all the scenarios that concerned Kansas City come to life. We'll explain what that is next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Subscribe and download all new episodes of Nick's Wavin' in the Wheat podcast, released every Thursday on the 435 Podcast Network and the Odyssey app.
The all-new, pure, beautiful women. Best VIP rooms. Half-price bottle service every night. Pure, 350 Highway and Nolan Road. Party at Pure till 3 a.m. Check out purekc.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. This hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Wednesday, February 22nd at the Share Stay Plus by Best Western in Kansas City. And Thursday, February 23rd at the Holiday Inn and Suites, Overland Park West in Overland Park. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
The NFL playoffs are here, and the easiest way to get into the action is with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. New customers get started with $150 in free bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code WIN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. Must be present in select states to wager first online real money wager only. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbookfanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. For Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, West Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 Wyoming, Kansas, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. 1-877-770-STOP Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. 467-369 in New York. TN Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee.
Hey, it's Josh Klingler. The playoffs are underway, and don't be left empty-handed when you go or host that game day watch party. Go see my friends at Hy-Vee, the one-stop shop for your party needs. The official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Huge selection of Chiefs apparel, Chiefs plates and napkins and party supplies, Chiefs-themed cookies, cakes, and cupcakes. Hy-Vee can prepare your plate of wings. Stop by the seafood section for that party tray of shrimp. Get to the wine and spirits department to stock up for game day as well. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs.
big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs' score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Must use lookup code 92910. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
The final matchup of NFL Wildcard Weekend is tonight, and the easiest way to get into the playoffs is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code 610BOB. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bet for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. I love Tampa to win the game tonight and the under as well. It's all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code 610BOB. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Chiefs coverage on 610 Sports is brought to you by Park & Go. Book parkandgo.com.
Park & Go makes airport parking fast and stress-free. Stay clear from the winter elements with covered parking and free instant shuttles. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. The best deals in parking. Bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned and operated.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Tether it off, we gonna tether it off the mother sucker. Tether it off the sucker. Tether it off, we gonna tether.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Nick Schwert with you. We'll get to the random question of the day coming up in about 12 minutes or so. Reminder, our NFL playoff coverage brought to you by Centric. Learn more at centric.com/610. I thought the one game over the weekend that kind of reminded me of all the same things we've discussed of what it looks like if the Chiefs were to lose a playoff game. Wasn't that what a majority of the Bills-Miami Dolphins game was, except Buffalo did find a way to win? One of the complaints we've had at times during the regular season for the Chiefs is like, oh, they're making mistakes, they don't look good, they're barely winning games. In the playoffs, you can get away with that, or you do that and nobody's going to care. Sure. It's very unlikely you get away with that. The Bills got away with it because they're going up against a third-string quarterback in Skylar Thompson.
You can really boil it down to pretty much that.
Right? I mean, because special teams blunder, big return or two, the interceptions from Josh Allen, so turnovers in the game, some questionable time management decisions. for Sean McDermott. And also on the other side, of course, Mike McDaniel, the head coach for the Dolphins. Couldn't get plays in on time. I thought that entire game was like the formula of how you typically can lose a playoff game as the team that is a heavy favorite. The Bills did everything possible to do that. They had a 17-0 lead, let the Dolphins have life and confidence. Skylar Thompson heading back in the second half obviously had a lot of confidence because he got the touchdown.
Kept screwing up, giving Miami all these chances before have to get the things back even, which they did briefly. I know it finished 2017 at half, but walked them right back into the game. I think my biggest takeaway from these games was that I felt good that the Chiefs didn't have to play in them. Because they can have that game. We've seen that game many times this year, as you've pointed out. And I'm a little bit frustrated that Buffalo decided to have it now. Because if it's teams that are as good as the Chiefs and the Bills or the Bengals, they don't really do that kind of thing, Gold, more than once in a postseason run. This was the Buffalo's one implosion. And it didn't cost them the game, because if you pointed out, they got to face Skylar Thompson, a third-string quarterback who, was giving it his all. Certainly kept his team in the game. Credit to them for even having that game be anything at all, considering they were, a 14-point underdog by the time that game actually kicked off? But it's just one of those, it is a stark reminder of how quickly things can go bad for pretty much any team who is really good. And we haven't seen the Chiefs let it go that bad probably since the Colts game. We've seen it go bad, right, where they made the mistakes against Denver and made it through and won. But the Bills did everything wrong. They were letting up big plays. They were turning the ball over. Special teams was a mess. Like, they were doing the Colts game version of that and still won. That'll still speak to their talent. As much as we want to, knock down the Bills and the Bengals for their performance, that's just the playoffs. They're not upset that they won ugly.
No, in the playoffs, you can be upset that somebody had 3 interceptions. Look at Trevor Lawrence and the 5 turnovers in that game as a team. Like, you found a way to win. You move on. Like, you don't have to apologize for winning games in the playoffs whatsoever.
Can we at least kill Tony Romo's idea of calling him Mr. January, though?
Yeah, that was weird.
Can we kill that?
We know that, Romo, by the way, oohs and ahs over Patrick Mahomes as well, so let's not act like that doesn't happen. But
Well,
it was weird, the whole,
fired up.
Josh, Mr. January. That didn't make any sense to me. I didn't get that one either.
This is why Josh Allen is Mr. January.
I was actually borderline confused. I was like, wait. I know he's got really good stats in the playoffs.
He does, yeah.
But he has so few wins. You can't call anybody Mr. anything unless they've, dominated that particular field for so long. Also, I think Mr. January is an insult.
Okay.
Because the most important game in the NFL is played in February. I don't think being Mr. January is all that cool, because you'd rather be Mr. February, a more important time of the season to play.
Right, but you said it. There's only one game in February, and so unless your name is Tom Brady, there is no Mr. February.
You can't ever be Mr. February.
There is no Mr. February.
It's the saddest thing to be king of. I'm king of the kind of playoff games, but not the most important one, but some of the others. You're right. Tom Brady would be Mr. February in that. And he's got other nicknames.
It's weird. Josh Allen, if you include fumbles and picks, he's got 30 of them. 30 or 31. Fumbles, not necessarily lost, but fumbles. 30 fumbles, if you combine his picks and all that. It's really bizarre this season. He's been very turnover prone, and in this game, it did almost cost the Buffalo Bills. The other part, you mentioned the broadcast. I'm sure someone had maybe much like the late John Madden, who didn't like flying. Maybe that was the reason. They pointed out Skylar Thompson, who's a local kid, and his dad drove 15 hours from Missouri to Western New York. I'm confused. I understand Skylar Thompson's a rookie in the league, and he's a third stringer, but he's been on an active roster all year. He makes still decent money doing that, just even a vet minimum.
You can pop for a $500 ticket.
Or rookie minimum, I should say. I'm just surprised. Maybe he doesn't like to fly. I don't know. That was surprising to me. I'm like, if Skylar Thompson would have pulled off that upset, buy your dad a plane ticket back home, please. Somehow figure out how to get the car home.
This is like the Jordan Love parent thing. You're like, is this it?
Now, he had better seats. He did have better seats. They showed him. He definitely had better seats than Jordan Love's parents did when they came to Arrowhead.
We had to drive 15 hours to sit in them.
Yeah, I'm like, get on a flight. And so maybe he doesn't like flying, because otherwise it makes no sense why you would drive 15 hours. Your son's a quarterback in the NFL.
Or let's consider some parents are the parents who would never take anything from their kid under any circumstance. Are they that parent? If you offered your parents a plane ticket, I think they'd take it, right? They'd be like, hey, especially if you made great money, you're like, I'm going to buy you a plane ticket. You can come out and see me host on Radio Row. Doesn't matter. And you can, I think my parents would take it. But I think there are parents who'd be like, no, I'm not taking a handout from, I'm the parent. like the parents who never let you pay for a single meal in their entire lives or whatever, right?
If the game was in Chicago and you're like, oh, his family drove from St. Louis. Like, okay, all right, whatever. Okay, fine. Still would have flown, but whatever. 15 hours seems wild to me.
Yeah, that's almost...
Have you 15? I think I've done that drive, like not that
twice,
not that
maybe
drive,
in my life,
but
3
that length
times
of drive.
Yeah, 2-3 times maybe.
15-hour drive. That's brutal. And then now he's got to drive back. Oh, screw. After the loss, or
after the loss.
No.
Just pay. Just have your kid pay to have someone drive your car back.
No, you just ship the car. That costs a lot of money too.
It's like $1,500.
Would have been way more just cheaper to buy the
just get that flight. Maybe he wanted his car around New York.
Text line says, I don't know if this is true. Text line says he didn't fly because he was worried about the canceled flights and all that. Haven't that calmed down a little bit, though?
Also, take a flight a day early.
The game was on Sunday. You knew your son all week was going to fly in Thursday or Friday if you have to Buffalo.
Yeah, you can get there. Anyway. And then you could still drive if needed.
Yeah, it says get him to Miami by the time of the game. Again, he's flying to New York. The game wasn't in Miami. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised.
I don't know. Is that...
Do you think hasn't the Southwest stuff calmed down? That's not still a huge problem.
Nick, you're the most frequent traveler on this show. How have your flights been lately?
I haven't flown since I got back in town, and I think you know that.
But your girlfriend's flown in town several times. How have her flights gone?
Well, no, she hasn't. She flew in town like 2 days after I got back, and it got canceled. But that was December.
Today there have been 1,200 cancellations today.
That was December 29th or whatever.
That's a lot
now,
of cancellations.
That's worldwide, I think. U.S. into the U.S. 179. Because there's always cancellations.
That feels like a normal number.
That's a normal number.
That's a very, yeah.
That's understandable. My point being is, if he wanted to fly, I don't buy the idea. You're just worried about the.
I'll give Romo this. I think a lot of people were annoyed with him because of how big of a deal he's getting there. It will better than the Tony Dungy, Al Michaels crew.
Oh, man. They had no energy whatsoever in the comeback win for the Jags.
Who would have thought that Tony Dungy,
he's
as a color analyst, wouldn't be like super dynamic, which is funny because, I always thought Jason Garrett would be perfect in the booth with all the enthusiasm that he has.
Look, it was the most boring game ever, according to them. The 27-point comeback.
Here, play the clip, and then we can talk some more about it, I guess. But
which, I mean, like, there are choices. Do you want the final call of what was an epic comeback?
Sure.
Because, again, I think it's important to note what was happening in this game at the time that it occurred and the final call that existed.
Meanwhile, Jacksonville can set their sights likely on Kansas City. Here we go for the win. Got it, but there's a flag down. There's a flag down as everybody's running out onto the field, but there's a penalty marker.
Offside. Defense number 26.
And they call it on the defense. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Dungy just offering nothing there, by the way. Just offering no help.
Al Michaels is a legend in the business, and he's had a great career. I was more surprised that was him. Tony Dungy, I would have guessed that 100 times. You could have told me he was going to call the game, and I would have assumed.
So
Tony Dungy, that's Tony Dungy. He's kind of like a ghost at times up on set. I mean, that's Tony Dungy. And Al Michaels was the surprising part.
I'm glad that NBC, with the most watched show in television for like 10 years running, Football Night in America, chose Tony Dungy and Jason Garrett to anchor their coverage.
It would actually be better with like just two scarecrows.
A ghost and a computer.
I understand Tirico in Collinsworth, who, by the way, were terrific last night in that game. They were already calling the next day's game, so they had to have a secondary crew. I get that. And I'm fine with them bringing Al Michaels back. Like, that wasn't... But if you're going to have Al Michaels, you got to pair him with somebody else. And then Al Michaels put together, I thought, he thought it was Thursday night crappy Amazon Prime broadcast, and he was mailed it in already for the season.
Well, in the first half, again, no one would blame him. But then, when the game got interesting, the calls all remained the same. And it looks like Lawrence got another touchdown. I'm like, they just took the lead, Al. There's a lot going on in this game. It's like a huge upset based on how many points they were down. That was just, it was hard. It was like between the Mr. January and this, it was like one of the themes of the weekend was being annoyed by the broadcast crews. And I find myself normally caring all that much about the cast crews. We've talked about the ones we think are good or not. And Jason Garrett should never be on a television ever again. But
he's going to next year. Again, I believe. He didn't take a head coaching job in college.
Everything,
What TV exec just sat in there and thought, this is the guy? This is super
Brock
interesting.
Purdy's a good football player, and I just think the 49ers are such a good football team. That's everything he says, just like football player, football team. Well, that's just a good football team.
Well, guess who's going to be doing
He's never said a single
pregame?
interesting thing.
This is why you should listen to 106.5 The Wolf on Saturday. But the Chiefs game, by the way, is on NBC. But that'll be Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth on the TV
Well,
side.
that'll be a good football game.
Between Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence?
Mahomes is just a good football player.
What do you think of Doug Peterson?
Oh, he's a good football coach.
Yeah.
I have a very limited Jason
I was wondering
Garrett
if you had a little more
impersonation.
for me. Your text line said your impersonation of Cody was spot on. They liked your impersonation of Cody. Text line was a big fan of that.
You want me to do a Cody impersonation?
Well, I mean, we were...
Patrick Mahomes is definitively a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. To me, I just don't think the Jaguars have a chance in this game. I'm not taking them seriously, and neither should you.
I didn't say any of those things.
But that's something you might say later this week.
I hadn't planned on it.
Alex, how'd I do?
I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, earlier you did like the exact voice, but that's the sentences that he would have said.
I was just repeating what he had said.
Earlier when you repeated it, it sounded very similar. But that vibe, those are sentences we've discussed on the show before. Similar.
Mm-hmm. We have. I said not bad.
And it's not personal because I just can't do a gold impersonation.
You can't?
I don't know. I don't think that because I just don't think.
It wouldn't sound comedic enough to do it over the top.
Yeah, you're not cartoon character
Thank you. Great. Let's get to random question of the day.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Nick. Over on the text line, 913-586-7610. Of course, the random question of the day brought to you by the window source of Kansas City. All right, I think it's probably time our show discuss it.
What?
Do you like this commercial?
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, Impossible or Bacon Whopper. I rule this day. Every day. Have it your way.
Very simple.
It's obviously a great commercial because we all
like
know it.
commercial?
It's obviously a great commercial and jingle because we all know it.
That doesn't mean it.
Oh, you can hate it. This reminds me of a year
It's
or
like
two
baby
ago.
back ribs, right? We can still hate it.
I
whole
hope the guy
Applebee's
who's
thing.
singing that song gets appendicitis. Or slips and falls shoveling his driveway and, I don't know, like cracks his pelvis. But not in a serious way.
Wow.
Just has to
well,
like...
cracking your pelvis is serious. It like Cody, you said, it's a lot like the Applebee's song.
My girl is banging. She's solo maintenance. Don't even
God, I hate this one. Way worse than the Whopper commercial.
Can't keep her off me. She wanna dip me like them fries in her frosty. But every now and then when I get paid, I gotta spoil my baby with enough grade. Hey, yeah, we fancy like Applebee's.
Like that's worse.
If you had to listen to one every car ride for a week, only one of those on repeat.
I would dive into oncoming traffic. That's what I would do.
I would
You just jump out of your car?
Yes.
I would rather listen to the Applebee's song than the Whopper.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because that was actually.
Dude, stop. And I'm not even joking. Don't do it again.
The Applebee's song is at least a real song.
Why, Nick? It's funny. It's funny how mad it makes.
But
On a date night, got to Bourbon Street, stay with the
He's less annoyed by that
Oreo
one.
shake.
He doesn't want to hear Whopper, 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 Whopper again.
I don't like either one of them. They both make me want to shove an ice pick into my ear.
Wow.
I kind of thought maybe some people would say they liked it. It's catchy, gets stuck in your head. I mean, it is abrasive. They run that ad a shocking amount of time on NFL. I don't know how much time they bought up, but it must be billions of dollars worth.
Whopper, 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 Whopper.
Dude.
It wasn't me this time. It was
People
Alex.
are literally driving their cars off the road right now because of you.
They're gonna like come into the workplace.
No, they're wrecking. Look at Shawnee Mission Parkway. There's cars all over, just running into the median. This isn't okay.
I like how the guy's like, "Hey man, we've got 4 different types of Whopper. I need to write a song about it." He's like, "I got it. Whopper, 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 Whopper." That's it. No other words in between. Just the word Whopper over and over again.
By the way, just quick round table. When's the last time you guys had Burger King?
2 weeks ago.
What? I was gonna say years.
2 weeks ago.
Dude, I don't.
I had a Whopper,
college maybe.
I had a Whopper 2 weeks ago.
Why?
So the ads are working on you.
because I heard
Whopper.
and I couldn't resist it.
No, you did not.
I actually don't mind Burger King.
Did you have a Whopper
fries
though,
used
for
to
real?
Their fries used to be way better. Their
Well,
fries.
how does your body feel about Burger King?
I'm here, aren't I?
That's not the metric for which we should be operating.
I actually think their hamburgers aren't that bad. I actually think the Whopper's pretty damn good. I actually think the Whopper's good. The
I haven't had a Whopper
fries
in a
used to be much
very
better.
long time.
Not all Burger Kings are created equal either. There's one location in town that is the worst.
So multiple people are saying that Cody is ripping off Bob for playing the Whopper commercial.
Why?
He
yeah.
played it this
you
morning.
know what? You're right. You're right. Bob, the person who adamantly destroys you regularly, so you should side with him, is the
I'm not
only
siding with
person.
him. I'm just sharing.
Is the only person discussing one of the most discussed topics in America. Right? It's just him though. Go anywhere on social media. Every single ESPN person, like everyone, is talking about these Whopper commercials. They've
So are you
infiltrated
saying Bob ripped you
pop
off?
culture. No, I'm saying that
Did you
it is
say it in the group text? Did you say it in the group text and then Bob ripped you off?
No, I don't think anybody said it in the group text.
Well, I mean, you might have said it and then maybe
I don't know.
Bob stole it from you.
I pay very little attention to the group text.
Well, maybe
I
you
did find out that that's how Alex got a date, but
I'm
outside of
trying
that-
to help you here, Cody.
Sure,
If you would
Bob
just-
ripped me off.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it was me. I had it first. I mentioned it to him in passing on Friday night, and I can't believe he took it to the air
So
on Monday
Bob
before I had a
Fesco,
chance.
according to Cody Tapp, Bob
Yep.
Fesco's a con man.
Is stealing content from
Yes,
Cody.
It's correct.
That's what Cody's alleging.
I'm stating as a fact, not alleging anything.
But dude,
The proof of
I don't
burden
think-
that he didn't rob it from me is on him.
I don't think I have ever had a Burger King cheeseburger. I guess we've already talked about this.
You haven't had a single fast food hamburger in your life.
Wendy's. No, I've had Wendy's.
Wendy's is it.
And Hardee's. I've had Wendy's, Hardee's.
But never a McDonald's hamburger and never a Whopper from Burger King.
Yeah, or never any burger from Burger King. I've had their chicken fries when I was in college.
Chicken
maybe.
fries, I'm actually a big fan of the chicken
And it
fries.
was a pinch.
Wow.
It wasn't like my first choice.
Chicken fries are actually pretty damn good. Great concept.
Like there are I would say 4 or 5 fast food chains right near the same location near my house. Burger King is one of them. Never visits. Just never there.
I just
That's
feel like
not
there's
the one I end up
something.
at.
I feel like sketchy going on
What do you mean?
inside in Burger King, and I don't know what it is.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. Don't make me explain.
What do you think is sketchy about Burger King?
I don't know, some illicit activity.
Why?
I mean, look at it.
It's a burger joint.
Yeah, but it always Burger King's, it doesn't matter. It could be brand new Burger King. It always looks like it could use a facelift.
Someone
Like it
from-
could use like a bath.
Oh, there's some locations that are nicer than others. From the 785, someone says they're sitting in the Burger King parking lot at the Legends right now, eating a burger, but the burger's from Whataburger next door.
And he says, you didn't read the last line. And there is no one in this parking lot.
Oh.
That's one thing about Burger King.
Why do you think they had to launch a creative marketing campaign?
Yeah,
Nick,
Whopper.
I'll make you a deal, Nick. We will never play that again on this show.
Well, I can't
If
agree.
you
I don't
go
know if
get
I
a
can
Whopper.
agree to that. Oh, yeah, if you'll eat a Whopper on air.
Play it every day. Play
By
it
the way,
every day.
Every day you'll hear that?
Play it every day.
There's a Burger King right down the street
That's gonna
from
be
us
stuck in
here
my
at work.
head.
I've definitely gone there after work before.
That's the good thing about Burger King is if you ever just want a quick burger and don't want to have to wait in line, go to Burger King.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're just taking shots.
You realize that we're at a radio company and place advertise.
Oh,
We
yeah?
wouldn't want to
Yeah, do they? I've been here for 2 years. Guess how many Burger King ads we've aired?
I don't know,
None.
man. They're
Actually,
obviously
I think this
spending
one
money.
Right here. I think this one is part of an ad that might air
Yeah,
occasionally.
unfortunately, they didn't even have to pay for this one. So why would they ever give us money? We're giving them free advertising. The King, by the way, I don't know in America that gives away more free advertisements than Cody and Gold.
Gold didn't mention the name of the bar he almost got assaulted at. So, we kept one name off.
I think that's probably for his safety, to be fair.
Like the guy's going to come find him.
Yeah.
He says what bar he's.
Some said, Gold, there's one across the street from your apartment. I don't know how you know that, sir, or whoever's texting
Wait,
in, but
is there,
there is
though?
one very close to my apartment.
Oh, no.
But there is. No, that's why I've gone. There's a McDonald's and a Burger King, right next to each other.
I'll bet you
Right
Burger
next to each
King
other.
is the #1 fast food establishment in America that maybe sells weed out of the drive-through window. Maybe. I said maybe, which means allegedly, which means you can't sue me.
Is that how that works? Where do you think?
I don't know.
I wonder where Burger King ranks among American fast food.
Actually, not very high. There was actually.
Oh, no
You're gonna
way!
laugh. No, because, and you guys will make fun of me for this. There was an article.
Was it the KC Business Journal?
I don't think it was KC Business Journal. It might have been a national publication. They're putting in like millions and millions of dollars into revamping some of their locations and marketing and trying to invest in their staff and all this kind of stuff because they have fallen behind the other three or so.
What are the big three?
It does appear, according to this most recent report I'm looking at now, they are still 7th, holding strong.
Yeah. Okay, let me guess. I'm gonna go here. McDonald's 1.
Yep.
Wendy's 2.
No, Wendy's isn't. It's above Burger King, but they're at 6.
Are these only burger joints, or are these just fast food?
These are fast food.
Okay, so Taco Bell 2.
Taco Bell's 4.
Subway, does that count?
That's 3.
Okay, Subway doesn't have
McDonald's
a drive-thru.
McDonald's obviously 1.
Some Subways do. The one at Midtown has a drive-thru.
McDonald's 1. Then what's number 2? What are we missing?
McDonald's is 1. So you're missing 2 out of the top 6 above Burger King.
Chick-fil-A.
That's 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is number 2?
This one's tough. Starbucks.
I never would have got that.
But I was right. Yeah, Burger King's investing $400 million to revive U.S. sales and reduce spend over the next 2 years on advertising and all this. And this was, an article I read back in September.
So we can continue to hear this Whopper commercial so many times at $400 million.
Or just new ones, maybe new jingles. You used to be the jingle master.
They stuck with that King for a while. They finally had to ditch that, huh?
The King.
I know that was a good marketing ploy. I know we're kind of up against it here, but just real quick, is there any fast food joints that you guys, under no circumstances, will visit? Like one fast food joint that you're just like, gross, how can anybody eat there?
I pretty much never go to Subway. I would like any sub place.
The only time I eat Subway is if you're on a road trip because they're at every truck stop ever.
Yeah.
That's true.
But that's it. I would prefer any other sub place be made available.
What about Arby's?
You know what? Underrated curly fries, though.
Dude,
I will hit
fries
Arby's.
are good.
I know.
Fries are good.
I will absolutely tear into some roast beef sandwiches.
Big beef and cheddar? Fine.
And it was
I got no problems there. Nothing against Arby's.
Have you seen how they make it? It starts as a gel. I don't care. I don't care how it starts. I care how it finishes. It finishes strong.
Yeah, I don't know if there's one like...
Do you want me to peel behind the curtain of every fast food place you eat at, sir?
Yeah.
It's not a better situation than the
I don't know
gel.
if there's one that I would never... I mean, I haven't been to a Hardee's in about 15 years.
What?
but-
Dude, Hardee's is like the one that I feel like it's almost elevated fast food. It's good.
Elevated?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, stop. Did you just say elevated fast food in Hardee's?
Elevate your game, man.
Now, we're really going through and just bad-mouthing every fast food. It's a great strategy. Great strategy.
I'm propping up Hardee's.
Oh, someone said Captain D's.
Well, thick burger?
Wait, there's no way a Captain D's. Nobody's ever been in one.
I don't even know what that
they're
is.
front for money laundering or something. I've never seen anyone in a Captain D's.
What about Long John Silver?
So I actually used to like Long John Silver, but I didn't get the fish there. I would get the L6, the 2 chicken planks, Hush Puppies, fries.
Haven't been there in 25, 30 years.
They closed most of them. I don't know. There might only be
I think I was in Salina.
They've closed most locations, yeah. They've closed most of those. But the chicken planks were pretty damn good.
Somebody is saying that they could say the same thing that you're saying about all these fast food joints about Crapotle, as they call it.
Look, even though they're on my...
They've wronged you.
Even though Chipotle's on my you-know-what list because they said I won a year of burritos and only gave me a free entree instead, that's still my place.
Which you've already eaten?
Still my place. I already ate there again, yeah. Still my place, even though it's...
Well, you're not even taking a stand.
I'm going to email them. I'm going to email them. Look,
just immediately went back in. He's going to order it tonight and pay.
Look,
He's supposed to have a year's worth of free Chipotle.
Look, every relationship has its ups and downs. Right now, we're big down right now with my relationship with Chipotle. It's a little frustrating. Made, and you didn't keep the commitment.
But that's when you take a stand. That's when you draw a line that is unacceptable. Otherwise, how are you ever going to convince them to change?
Bought him one pair of jewelry store, $20 plastic earrings, and he was back in. It didn't even. It wasn't even like a real gift in the honeymoon cycle.
Okay, I love you too. Forgive you.
I'm saying for those of you listening out there, Qdoba, hit me up. Hit me up.
He's not formally requesting a trade, but
do you want to see?
He's unhappy.
I just want to know, like, if you
Costa
run
Vida,
a local,
you too, Costa Vida.
If you run a local Qdoba or longboard, if you run a local, I think they can increase their rating. Like, they're quarter-one profits if Alex goes there.
At least 4%.
Yeah, think about that. You're always looking for a way. This is the way.
Yeah, fast food trade proposal. A 0.1% Chipotle customer could be yours. That's the trade. That's the trade that can be made. All right, coming up next, we get to the 1 o'clock hour. We'll get back into some football. We'll tell you something that you can have a chance to win on Thursday. What's happening with the other quarterbacks?
There's Kelsey.
to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
It's playoffs time, KC. Rally House has the Chiefs gear you're looking for, including Chiefs official postseason gear and the latest styles fit for the kingdom.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, Rally House. It's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Gear up in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
Don't miss the National Fishing Expos Kansas City, January 20th through the 22nd at the KCI Expo Center. Fishing season starts now with over 60 free seminars with pros from every corner of the sport, all while experiencing huge savings on all your tackle needs, all under one roof. 2 kids, 17 and under, get in free with every adult at the National Fishing Expos Kansas City. This January 20th through the 22nd at the KCI Expo Center. For information and tickets, go to nationalfishingexpos.com. Presented by Wholesale Batteries, the right battery the first time.
Enjoy Medium Mondays at Old Shawnee Pizza. Watch the games and get any single topping medium pizza for only $10.99. Call or go to ShawneePizza.com today. Any single topping medium pizza for only $10.99. Only at Old Shawnee Pizza. 2 locations, Shawnee and Lenexa.
I'm Brad. I've been with Overhead Door Company of Kansas City for almost 20 years. What we see a lot of in the wintertime is customers sliding into their doors because of icy conditions in their driveway. So hit doors, broken springs, doors stuck to the ground due to ice, bottom rubber ripped off, things like that.
Cold weather wins every time, but we'll get you prepared. Overhead Door Company of Kansas City since 1927. OverheadDoorKC.com.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 913-890-GOLD. NMLS 114937.
Yeah, you know, back in my day, a gallon of gas was only 8 cents. And it didn't cost an arm and a leg to go to the movies.
Okay, Dad.
So it'll happen to you. Just look at home internet rates. You think they won't go up?
Actually, Dad, I have T-Mobile 5G home internet, so I get T-Mobile's price lock guarantee, which means they won't ever raise my rate for internet.
Yeah, but if T-Mobile doesn't ever raise your rate, then by the time you're my age, you won't be able to complain about how much better it was back in the day. Because, you know, it'll still be good.
Yeah, Dad. That's kind of the whole point.
Switch to Mobile 5G home internet. A price lock guarantee. We won't raise your rate for internet ever. And it's just $50 a month with autopay. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/5G internet.
Qualifying credit and service required. Regulatory fees included in price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without autopay. Price lock exclusions like taxes, fees, select promos, and third-party services apply.
Come explore aisle after aisle at locally owned Lucas Wine and Spirits superstores for thousands of different wines, craft whiskeys, beers, and other fine spirits available in-store or online at lucaskc.com. Lucas Wine and Spirits superstores.
The NFL playoffs are here, and the easiest way to get into the action is with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. New customers get started with $150 in free bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code WIN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. Must be present in select states to wager. First online real money wager only. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbookfanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. For Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, West Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or
Text NEXT STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777, or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700, Wyoming, Kansas, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com, 1-877-770-STOP, Louisiana, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY, 467-369 in New York, TN Redline, 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Looking to make some money this playoff season? Don't miss That Betting Show with Alex Gold, Thursday nights at 7, and listen on demand with the Odyssey app. 610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Station.
One o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Nick Schwartz with you. Be listening on Thursday throughout the show. Your chance to qualify to win a autographed football from our guy, Creed Humphrey. All day long on Thursday, we'll be giving you guys a chance to qualify. Someone's taking home a signed football with the autograph of the best center in football, a All-Pro, Creed Humphrey.
And close personal friend of the show.
That's right. That's right. Cody tried to take the football. We didn't let him. So I just want you guys to know, Nick and I respect you guys enough that we made sure that football was not just for Cody.
And just to be clear, when we say he tried to take the football, we literally saw him walking out, running more like it, or as fast as he could run with the leg.
Yeah, the leg was dragging, but yeah.
At that time, it had not been claimed, in my defense, similar to the gift
So why
bags.
were you running? Why did you have it shoved under your hoodie?
I would say walking briskly.
So anyway, we got
and
the
to keep
football,
it protected.
We got the football back. It's still signed. He didn't smear the autograph or anything, and we will be giving that away on Thursday's show. Throughout the show, you have a chance to qualify.
Means a limited number of qualifiers.
You okay? You're getting choked up. Take your time.
So emotional.
I don't know what happened.
You really wanted that football, didn't
I
you?
really did. It kind of hurt my feelings.
Here come the tears, guys.
You really wanted it.
Go ahead, Cody.
No, I'm good now. Thanks. I recomposed myself. I'll just have to find other ways to get a signed Creed Humphrey football. Like money.
Been down that road before, haven't we?
Yep. Have they closed that bank account yet of yours?
The
bank account?
No.
Tax season's coming
It
up.
is tax season. Have fun filing those taxes, Cody. All that income. Nick and I aren't helping you there.
What income? That money's spent.
Have fun.
It's a write-off.
All that income you got.
I don't think that's how
those
It's a write-off.
T-shirt shows. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think that's how the IRS works.
Pretty sure that T-shirt sales, those were attached to the name Cody Bancroft.
Oh, that money's spent. That's how these cameras work.
Cody,
it's a write-off.
Alex, you're the most financially responsible show. Is that how the IRS operates? If you just tell them, hey, I spent the money, they're like, oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah, because that's how it works. When you just
that way for super rich people.
It actually
just got to be super rich.
Look
That's
at Cody tried to get political now on us all of a sudden.
Cody, don't get political.
But
I was just speaking of my absorbent salary.
But Nick, that's how that works. So like whatever your salary is, you get paid, and because I use it to pay rent and use it for food, it actually don't have to pay any taxes. That's
No, these are work-related expenses.
That's really smart.
That's why I was trying to spend $2,000 on that basket.
If
really
you're
trying to claim something.
gonna embezzle or tax fraud, just make sure you spend all the money. Then the IRS will leave you alone. That's the lesson to be learned here.
I, for one, have never been audited.
Yeah, that's how that works for the buzz or whatever. And so since he bought the house, they don't care. That's why he's getting extradited to the United States.
And then saying, well, I've never been audited before, so you can't audit me now. That usually works as well. It's a good defense.
Have you ever been audited?
Obviously not.
No,
I haven't. Responsible tax-paying citizen.
You have not.
So am I.
Well, you can be a responsible paying tax citizen and get audited. They just
to each his own.
Anyway, if there's any IRS agents out there, Cody Bancroft Tap.
Don't I give my middle name?
You give it out on the show all the time.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Not in relation to being audited.
But you give out everybody.
I just got trouble in my life.
Hey, also, by the way, like the IRS is coming for. If only we knew his middle name.
Oh, goodness.
This was the key cog. He's been listening to the show weeks. I hadn't said my middle name yet.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot happening around the NFL that's not even directly tied into what happened this weekend. For example, we know that the quarterback carousel is going to be interesting, but there were multiple reports that have some implication for even the AFC West. So there's a report from CBS Sports that the Raiders are going to aggressively pursue Tom Brady. They believe he can be a program changer. That one still doesn't make any sense to me.
Why
if
not?
you're Tom Brady. If I'm Brady, I don't think he should retire either. And I don't know. We'll talk about tonight's game in a second. But why go to the AFC West and deal with Mahomes?
Because he's not afraid of anybody.
Why go to that division? You struggled to win an NFC South that you won with 8 wins. The Raiders, to me, are not Tom Brady away from winning the Super Bowl. If you're Tom Brady, unless you just want to go the marketing end, and that's your goal at this point in your career, then yeah, go to Vegas for that. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you don't go to the Raiders to win a Super Bowl. You just don't go there. They're not Super Bowl ready.
You know what, though? I think that you would have made that argument for Tampa. You know, like that's not where teams went to go win Super Bowls either. I understand that they had one win in the early 2000s. For a time that the Raiders had one, in fairness, before Tom Brady showed up. The one difference is, like, I understand our outside logic, Gold, of that's a bad place to go. The Chargers won 10 games. The Chiefs won 14. Seems like it'd be a difficult to win the division and then therefore get to a Super Bowl. But Tom Brady, as much as it sucks, is not afraid of and does not fear any of that. I don't even think that bothers him.
He left the AFC right after the Patriots.
I know, but he is one of the... No, he left for what is the best roster. I think if that same roster had been in the AFC West at that time, he'd have gone there,
yeah,
too.
but the Raiders aren't just like, man, what a great roster they got in Vegas.
That's where I question it. It's like they've got Devontae Adams, they've got Max Crosby, they've got some pieces there, but the collection of that roster still bore out is Derek Carr's worst season as a professional. And honestly, maybe he gets along with Josh McDaniels, and I don't know.
The report, though, had been that the relationship had fractured at the end, so I don't know.
Yeah, so why wouldn't McDaniels be a part of that? The fracturing, that is. Unless he was the guy standing in the office saying, no, that's my guy. I just don't think McDaniels is a good coach. And I don't know that Tom Brady feels like he has to have that necessarily either. I don't know that, it's not that Bruce Arians or even Bowles, they're not perfect coaches in their own right, but still we're stuck in this situation where if I were him, I would be doing the exact same thing we talked about with the Bucs. Go find the team with the best roster. And as much as we've said Tom Brady took like a pay cut for the Patriots, take a true pay cut. Man, go take like $5 million from a team. Who cares? Go take $5 million, because all that matters to Tom Brady at this point.
He's not going to do that,
But
obviously.
the only thing that matters to Tom Brady at this point is a Super Bowl championship, and we know that that's why he's playing. He got $400 million in TV. He's already earned $500 million in his career. He's good to go. He doesn't need the $25 million from a team. Take $5 million from the best roster in the NFL and go win another one.
Well, this is
it doesn't
also why
matter the roster.
This is also why the report is the Titans would be interested in him again, which was the case a couple years ago. They have Ryan Tannehill, but they can get out of that contract very easily. It's 1 year left. Tom Brady in Tennessee, Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, going back to something we discussed earlier.
In a weak division?
That would be interesting.
I mean, the Jags won the division this year, but with 9. So unless they're getting ready to take their significant leap forward, and they're going to have to learn to do it with a first-place schedule and a first draft pick, which always makes the challenge for these teams who are trying to be up-and-comers. If I'm Brady, I'm just whichever roster is the best. I don't care the coach. I care because he will supersede that. You don't need Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator for Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the offensive coordinator. You run his system. If you're bringing Tom Brady in, you're not running somebody else's offense. It's his. It's his offense, however the hell he wants to do it. He's had way too much success to entertain it. Because between it, Carr and Jimmy G, and if they'll stick with Tua, or where the hell does Lamar Jackson end up? All of the quarterbacks this year are going to do that. And everyone's going to have their... It's crazy because whether you're at the top of the draft or the bottom of the draft, you have multiple choices. You can go with unproven young quarterback, right? You could trade for a guy like we said with Trey Lance. You can go with quarterback, right? Get yourself a Derek Carr. You can go with proven all-time great, Tom Brady. You can go with former MVP who might be looking for a new team, Lamar Jackson, or you can just draft one of the 4 guys who are projected to go in the first round. It is Chris Ballard's dream in a way, except for it's not just veteran quarterbacks. You can choose your own adventure, right? Whichever angle you want to take here.
Does tonight have any bearing on Tom Brady or just any of these quarterbacks? So the Bucs are 2.5-point underdogs at home. They're playing the Cowboys for a weekend game. Of course, we know that this is going to set up the 49ers. If the Cowboys win, it's like, okay, maybe they stabilize the ship a little bit. Are people back on board? Or, and if it's Tom Brady, the storyline is Mike McCarthy losing to Tom Brady, an 8-win team. Is he going to get fired? Should they try to go after Sean Payton? That's going to ratchet up. If Brady wins, it's like, oh, here we go again. Is Tom Brady going to go on another magical run? I mean, that's what's fun about tonight's game for me. I'm actually really excited. I think the Cowboys are just flat out the better team. I know they looked like crap last week against Washington, but Tom Brady and the Bucs offense all year, not a 1-week sample size, a 17-week sample size, they have not looked good. There's October we're waiting, November we're waiting. It's January, and they haven't figured it out. They're not going to figure it out. The 2-minute drill has been their only time where that offense has looked anything like what we thought it could have been.
Everything you say makes sense. I don't know. Nick, I am curious where you are, too, because, I understand everything you're saying. That is all logical. I really have a hard time not assuming Tom Brady wins anyway.
Well, no, I think a lot of people think that way.
Call him Dad. I think the team's no good. I think they've been well coached.
Brady's never lost to the Cowboys.
This is like
and I'm just
ultimate...
I don't care about that stat, though, anymore.
You're fine, Cody, you can't hedge your bet like this. You said he was done. You killed Tom Brady in the offseason.
I think the Cowboys are going to win.
there we go.
But it's just like I have a hard time in
hedge.
It's a one-time playoff game. I don't care if you think he's done anytime. Brady can win that.
Cody, why are you yelling, man?
Against Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott didn't even want to play a
Cody,
game?
we're just trying to have a conversation.
I know. I hate that I want to believe Tom Brady can win this game because his team stinks. And they shouldn't.
I got a bet with Sean Barber on the side, too. He's like, we have a bet.
Oh, do you know?
He's got the Cowboys plus 2.5, the Bucs plus 2.5. I have the Cowboys minus 2.5. And I really think the Cowboys, again, it's not even, I don't need them to win by even a field goal. They win the bet. It's not a push. Like, I don't need them to win by a touchdown, just a field goal. They are the far more talented team. I don't think Todd Bowles is a very good head coach. We can poke all the fun we want at Mike McCarthy, but it's funny for everybody loving Sean Payton so much and going to pay him all this money. Look at their track record. I think it was First Things First who actually did a good breakdown of this with the graphics. It's almost like coaching careers.
Except the guy won his. Oh wait, no.
They both have won. Yeah, like it's actually not. It's just, but it's funny perception. We think McCarthy's way worse than Sean Payton. They actually are very similar in playoff wins.
Both had Hall of Fame
both
quarterbacks for majority.
Quarterback. Both have one ring.
It's hard to win too. We've talked about this with the Chiefs. He would be in rarefied air if Mahomes is able to get to 2 and he can get to 2. But McCarthy did a lot more like things where you're like, are you a boob? Are you an idiot? He did more
things
Sean
like that.
Sean
Payton underachieved. I mean, I think Sean Payton underachieved drastically.
I think we maybe talked about that when he retired.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could look at his career and say that he didn't. By the way, do you think the Bucs are winning this game, Nick? You had them in the NFC title game at some point, didn't you?
I have the boys. I have the boys in blue.
Didn't he at some point?
America's.
Gosh, he switched
America's
again.
team. No, America's team. No, I didn't.
Did you switch again?
He switched again on Friday. Nick had the Bucs playing the Eagles,
right?
In the NFC title game. I have the
That's
Cowboys.
simply not what happened.
Obviously, I'm rooting for the Cowboys too because I have the Cowboys playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But yeah,
no, that's not what happened. And.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure he said he's got the Bucs. And then tomorrow he's gonna. If the Bucs win tonight, Nick's gonna come on tomorrow and play audio of him saying the Bucs are in the NFC title game. That's what's gonna.
Pull it.
That's what's gonna happen.
Don't make me pull the audio,
We all know
guys.
that's what's gonna happen.
Please don't
tomorrow.
make me pull the audio because I'll do it.
Please do. Pull
Nick
it right
went
now.
from
Though.
never making a pick on this show to changing his pick just every 5 seconds.
Yeah,
that's not true.
Twice a show, you change your
Cody,
picks.
we
now.
just talked about this before the season. You said Tom Brady was done. He was
I wasn't
finished.
before
He
the
would never
season.
be
It was in the
relevant
middle.
again.
It was in the middle of the season. I said that, and I stand by it. He's on an 8-9 team. This team stunk. I also hadn't planned on him getting divorced. That might give him more fuel. I should have counted on that. Well, he came back to football. He was willing to get divorced over it, so probably going to be pretty motivated to make that football thing work out. Seems like
I'm looking forward to the game.
I'm going to find this audio, by the way.
Which audio? Of you saying the Bucs or the other one?
I don't even need the audio. I know what he said. He picked the Chargers to be in the AFC title game, and he picked the Bucs to be in the AFC title game. An hour earlier, he picked the Jags to be in going up against the Chiefs. So he's basically hedging his bet by saying both scenarios can actually play out.
Can't be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that either the Chiefs or Jaguars could win their game, and either the Bills or Bengals could win the game.
Right?
Great point. we're going to have to really make a tough decision on that Bills-Bengals game. I still don't know which one you'd rather have.
Oh, I'd rather play the Bills.
You've decided. Yeah. Bills neutral site rather than Bengals at home.
I have decided, yes.
Man, but since they didn't look all that good in that Baltimore game.
I'm not afraid of the Buffalo Bills.
That is
Mahomes is beating Josh Allen in the playoffs. Mahomes is 0-3 against Joe Burrow.
I was able to find some relevant audio from Friday's show.
Oh, okay. Nick was just extremely horny.
Okay, that's definitely not the clip.
The audio.
Weird that you are
weird. That's
obsessed
audio.
with my sex life.
Why did you have that audio ready to go?
Yeah. So who's winning?
Because they were bad at the beginning, they were bad in the middle, bad at the end, which is why I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys to win this game.
He changed twice in that show?
Yes.
There you go. Dallas Cowboys. That is on the record from Friday. It's not about how you start, it's how you finish.
Okay.
Just kept changing his picks.
Yes.
Well, okay, so let me get this straight. So we can never change opinions anymore, right?
We're allowed to change opinions, but under a reasonable amount of time. You at 11 a.m. said the Bucs were going to the NFC title game. Literally nothing changed.
Moving the goalposts.
And then you at 1:30 p.m., I think, probably just to be an ass, said Cowboys, and then you knew you couldn't be wrong on Monday.
That's not what happened. It's not what happened. This is whataboutism.
Oh, gosh.
How is this whataboutism? What am I whatabouting? We're talking about the same thing.
And now this is whataboutism again.
I don't think you know what that is.
That's right, Gold.
Okay, we can't just all say into the microphone. We have to do other portions of the job at this point.
We did have a good time on Friday. Nick wasn't there, though. Thanks to all the listeners that came out to Center Block Brewing. That was awesome again. 2 years in a row. Packed house. Great beer. It was really cool to catch up with a lot of people, meet some new people as well. And I know Dusty had a great time doing the show out there. We had a chance to hop on the show. Nick, you really missed out. Hopefully you can make it next year. We'd really appreciate if you showed up to a nice company team event since we're all on the same team, I thought.
He missed last year, too?
Earlier, Nick said wanted us to be all a family.
No, I was there last year. I shut the place down.
You wanted us to a family. You were
I was there longer
about
than
that
you were.
earlier.
What even there? When? Last year or this year? Because this year I think I won.
Last year I was there. I shut the place down.
Did he? Did he shut the place down?
Yeah, he was there pretty late last year, yes.
Yeah, late. And it got weird.
Well, we learned a couple of things earlier. We learned that you met a girl, and then you went on kind of,
you love her now, right?
And that girl almost caused you to get into a bar fight.
No,
you didn't. You avoided it.
She said, defend my honor, Alex.
She didn't cause that. No, she did not cause
and then
that.
I brought some business to this
happened.
company. But there was one other notable thing. So amongst many of the conversations with listeners while we were there, one stood out. It was intriguing to me.
Okay.
Gentleman came up and had said, hey, big fan of 610. I was like, oh, thank you for listening so much. He said, hey, is Carrington here? Seat out here. I said, you know what? Haven't seen him yet. Carrington shows up sometimes.
He did show up eventually.
But I was assured Carrington will be here. Carrington before I had left. I said, Carrington will be here. No worries. Just if I see him, I'll let you know. And he said, okay. And he said, Carrington's my favorite personality at the entire station. He said, and Dusty Likens is too, and you're 3. I said top 3, not bad.
There you go.
Right?
You'll take it.
I'm feeling pretty good. And then he said, only problem is I don't really listen to your show. I thought, well,
how does he like you if you have the show?
Not important, because the following sentence is why he's like exact words he said after, excluding the expletive, said, because I don't like your effing co-host. That's what he said to my face.
He said the F word?
Yes.
This guy, by the way, this guy.
We could have one more listener.
We could.
But that guy really doesn't like you.
Respond, please.
That's the perfect description of someone that he said it to you, but yet I was right there and did not. And he had an opportunity.
Maybe he didn't see you.
And he didn't actually.
Maybe he doesn't know what you look like because it's a radio. He may not know your face.
Most people there still figured who was who for the most part. But yeah.
So what would you do?
I would say
if that guy was in this room right now.
I would say,
and he's in your face. He's hovering over you.
I would say to that guy in particular, I would say, what do you do for a living?
Oh,
and then he would tell me, and I would say,
shaming.
I think you suck at your job as well. That's probably what I would say. Because that's basically what the guy is saying.
No,
so,
he just said, you're not his cup of tea. That's really all he said.
He didn't put it quite that gently.
Stylistically.
Yeah.
But he did kind of put it that way. Yeah.
And did he mention anything about the producer?
He did not.
Okay.
Although he
I'll
did
take
say,
it. I'll take it.
as a follow-up, he did say that he tried to recently tune into the show again. But it was a day that I was off, and he made it 30 seconds before he wanted to, I think the words he used was throw his radio out the car. So
so he keeps a radio, like a transistor
So
radio.
you
in his
can
car?
just pull out
He's
right
just going
away.
to rip it out.
Yeah, okay. So
If you guys want to get that sketch artist so we can get a drawing of the guy that was threatening Alex, I could also describe that guy.
Maybe the same guy.
That way.
You think it's the same guy?
No. Your description of the guy, my guy was much smaller than that.
You don't think it's the same guy?
So I think we start doing this thing where we ban people from listening to the radio. So that guy, if that guy's listening, if you're listening,
Turn your radio off.
Turn it off. And you
Switch.
are no longer allowed to listen to this show under any circumstances.
You're kicking them off.
Yes.
But he said nice things about me. He said I was his third favorite.
I don't care. He hates 2/3 of us. So be a team player.
Oh, so we're back to the family part.
Nick gets it. Yeah.
So we're back to being a family again.
And he
after
hasn't
you
even, and he
accused me of
hasn't
being
even
bad with my own
And
family.
he hasn't even explicitly said anything about me, but I'm siding with Alex because that's what families do.
Do you think he knows my name even? He just said you're co-host.
He said co-host.
Yeah, but you sure? People get confused by that. By the way, I've had that run in when people think you're co-host and they think Nick's my co-host. They don't know that. Some people don't.
Well,
have
some
that.
people think that they think I sound like one of you guys. Maybe you. A lot of people think I sound like Dusty, which is weird.
Right, that happens a ton.
I don't hear that at all.
They do kind of.
I don't.
They
hear it
actually
either.
do sound a little like. Yeah. But yeah.
Masculine-
I'm glad that guy
you mean
made it out to the
masculine?
event. Hey, you know what?
I wanted to give you some feedback.
Even the haters, we appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, the haters and losers, you guys are the ones really paying our salaries, so
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Absolutely. As long as you're listening to the station,
I hope you got
and
to
the
meet
show,
Carrington.
that's all that matters, man. So we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's anyone who listens to this show who's a sketch artist and could help us out?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
At least like
Yeah.
a caricature.
So if you're a sketch artist, please hit us up on our DMs.
Well,
at
I
Alex
kinda have-
Gold,
I
at
told
Cody
you,
B.
I
Tab.
have a photo.
We're looking for. You have a photo of the gentleman now?
Wait, will you send it to me? I want to see this guy.
So we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll explain what happened, the near bar fight that occurred on Saturday night. And yeah, we have more of a clear description of exactly how it went down next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss Alex's That Betting Show every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Right here on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
The all-new, pure, beautiful women. Pure. Best VIP rooms. Pure. Half-price bottle service every night. Pure. 350 Highway and Nolan Road. Party at Pure till 3 a.m.
The sexiest party on the planet is at Pure.
Beautiful women. Best VIP rooms. Half-price bottles. The all-new, pure Ultra Lounge at 350 Highway and Nolan Road. Open till 3 a.m. Check out purekc.com.
Hey everybody, this is Andrew Filipponi here, bringing you the parlay of the day, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Last week, all you heard was doom and gloom about the Cowboys. Dak stinks, McCarthy is done. I'm not buying it. There's a reason Dallas is favored. So here's my Cowboys parlay tonight. Dallas -2.5, Dak over passing yards, Gallup over receiving yards, Lamb over receiving yards, Elliott over rushing yards, Pollard over rushing yards. 6 legs, $20, wins you more than $500. Ride with the Cowboys tonight. That's it for the parlay of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today and make every moment more with America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Time for a new furnace? How about a free one? That's right. Buy a new air conditioner and get the furnace for free. Book your experts from Energy Experts Heating and Cooling today at EnergyExpertsKC.com. That's EnergyExpertsKC.com.
If you are a business owner, listen up and remember the website getrefunds.com. If your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. It's a little-known program, but it's out there. It's a payroll tax refund, not a loan, no payback. It's a refund of your taxes. Now, the challenge is getting your hands on it. How do you cut through the red tape, get your business the refund money they have coming back? Well, go to getrefunds.com. The team of tax attorneys they put together, highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program, and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. To find out if your business qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. They do all the work, no charge up front. Simply share a percentage of the cash they get for you. Don't miss out. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com. Hey, it's Josh Klingler. The playoffs are underway, and don't be left empty-handed when you go or host that game day watch party. Go see my friends at Hy-Vee, the one-stop shop for your party needs, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Huge selection of Chiefs apparel, Chiefs plates and napkins and party supplies, Chiefs-themed cookies, cakes, and cupcakes. Hy-Vee can prepare your plate of wings. Stop by the seafood section for that party tray of shrimp. Get to the wine and spirits department to stock up for game day as well. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Must use lookup code 92910. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. Well, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Motors Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed. And a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund ×2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Bonus days are back for pros at Lowe's. You earn points and save when you buy the top pro brands you trust, like DeWalt. Right now, you can save $100 on the powerful DeWalt 8¼ carbide tipped portable table saw. Was $399, now just $299. Join today and shop bonus days, only at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 1/20. Subject to change while supplies last. Visit Lowe's.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
At Anthony, we get the job done right the first time. That's why you know us as the technicians you can trust with your house keys. Right now, receive 50% off a new furnace when you purchase a new AC. Schedule online today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
NFL playoff coverage on 610 Sports Radio is brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
All right, number one on what's trending. We now know who the Chiefs are going to take on Saturday at 3:30. They'll take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, the 1-4 match of the Chiefs, 8.5-point favorites. You can hear the game over on 106.5 The Wolf.
Next up on What's Trending, Jordan Shorts over at The Score currently reporting that Brandon Staley and the Chargers are strongly considering keeping Staley after last night's performance, the blown lead over the weekend on Saturday. Staley makes $4 million per season roughly, which is not significant when you talk about NFL head coaches, but he will meet with ownership, and there's talks that some internal things could change, or they could make significant staff changes. But the reports are right now that the Chargers are, at least right now, strongly considering retaining Brandon Staley.
Next up on What's Trending, CJ Stroud officially declaring for the NFL draft. He, of course, is going to be a top 3 pick, it looks like, in the NFL draft coming up at the end of April. The draft taking place in Kansas City.
Next up on What's Trending, the college hoops over the weekend. K-State lost to TCU 82-68. Missouri fell to Florida 73-64. And KU beat Iowa State 62-60. The AP Top 25 is out. We now know KU and K-State in tomorrow's matchup will end up being number 2 versus number 13. But on the other end, as it turns out, Missouri will no longer be ranked. They will take on number 25 Arkansas coming up on Wednesday. And don't forget, this Friday, we'll be out at Rally House at 95th and Quivira, right across from Oak Park Mall. That's where we will be hosting. Michael Massey and MJ Melendez will help us host Red Friday from 1 to 2. Right there at Rally House, bringing you, we'll talk a little Royals, a little Chiefs, a little bit of life stuff. Remember, we talked a bunch of life stuff with MJ Melendez. Unfortunately, you didn't get to hear it. A little bit of everything of those guys. Commercial free from the 1 to 2 o'clock hour. Come out and see some of your favorite new Royals players. Maybe a chance to meet.
Yeah.
But MJ Melendez and Michael Massey, they'll be with us this Friday at Rally House. Whole show, 10 to 2 there, but they'll be with us from 1 until 2 o'clock.
Going to be a ton of fun getting set for the postseason and the Chiefs game on Saturday. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. So I always have headphone issues, man. That's
what
why
happened.
I was a little weird. All of a sudden, I can't hear you or myself talking. I can barely hear Nick, and now I hear no music and something with Nick tested the jack. It's definitely my headphones. So that's
do you
really
want me to
awkward.
get some other headphones?
No,
real
I mean,
quick?
we got 20 minutes left in the show.
Well, that's a long time to not be able to hear anything.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear Nick?
I can.
Maybe just hear you through the glass. Can you hear him like in your ears?
I hear him in my ears, but again, I have to like fidget the thing just in the right spot. So,
is it connected in this part? Kind of looks a little loose up there.
I think we're good now. We're good. We're good, man.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm just trying to help.
I
didn't
appreciate
realize
it.
Everything chill?
Yeah, it was weird. It had been working fine, and all of a sudden, it just decided not to.
You don't
work.
just feel like whooping someone's ass?
No,
not anymore.
You know,
Not
Nick, you
anymore.
know what I would never do? Because that's
I didn't. No, and
so
you
got on
could
there.
ask
He's like, Nick,
I did not
do
tell
this.
Nick. I did
Fix
not.
this problem.
I did
this
not.
is your
Nick-
job.
Nick-
Fix it.
Nick can tell you I did not actually.
That's what it looked like.
He came being a good him being a good producer. He actually came in and tried to help me, but I did not say, "Hey, can you fix this?" I just said, "Hey,
Nick,
I don't think I can
how
hear."
did it really go?
He said, get your lazy ass in here and fix this problem, or I'll find somebody who will.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he did try to fix
the
it.
second person he's
and I
threatened.
said, yes, sir. I said, yes, sir.
You know, he tried to come in and fix it on his own.
Because
he's-
unlike
he's
some
that
people in
good of
this
an employee,
city,
you know?
unlike some people in this city, I don't mess with Alex Gold. He tells me to do something, I do it. Because I know what happens if you don't.
Explain your situation over the weekend one more time.
Man. Well, I mean,
so you know, you nearly got in a bar fight.
Well, so obviously we had the playoff Pilsner beer release on Friday night, and ended up getting introduced to this girl. We were talking for a while on at Cinder Block, and then the group of friends and others were going to another bar Saturday night. So I said, yeah, let's go do that as well. So Saturday night went to a different bar
with a group of people you would never essentially or
yeah,
barely met.
Correct. Yeah. And a bar here, actually not too far from the station before. Anyway, they had dueling piano went there. So we're there. We're talking. Others she knew were there as well. She met through this group were there. So it's like a group of 10 of us. And at one point, like this guy came up and just like put his beer like in between the two girls or whatever. It's like, can I join the party? Which was just awkward.
Wait, is that what he said? Can I join the party?
That is a terrible pickup.
That's exactly
line.
what he said. And so,
Awful.
Which was just awkward to begin with. So
How busy was the bar?
Oh, it was packed. Yeah, it was packed.
So
he was already sitting at the bar. We were at a table. Okay, so we're there, and at some point in time later, so eventually we all scoot down, and he sits to the left of the girl I'm talking to and her friend, and nobody else at the table really liked the guy. Like, just didn't good vibes or anything, right? You kind of know what I'm talking about. So night goes on. It's like an hour or two later. He comes back after talking to this girl. He comes back to
so
the
he
three
left.
of us.
So he was talking and then he left.
Yeah,
the table.
he was going back. Yeah, but he was going back and forth, Nick. Okay, so
Yeah.
I hadn't said two words to the guy. And all of a sudden, he comes back later. He's like, all right, team meeting time. So, I was like, which is weird.
That's
also.
another weird thing to say. So that's at least two.
And
that's worse than the first one, by the way.
Three of us.
Team meeting?
Yeah, he says team meeting. And he goes, hey,
How did he say it, though? Did he say it like, team meeting?
Did he have an accent?
Did he have an accent?
What did he sound like? Kind of gruff?
What grade of reading level would you say this guy had?
Jeez.
What?
Trying to pick a fight with Alex at a bar.
And so that he comes back. He goes, I don't really know you. You guys, and he even like the girl I'm talking, he's like, you guys are the way you kind of just seems like you think you're too good you think you're better than me.
Specifically to you, not to the whole table, just to you?
Yeah, to the two of us.
We now know that Gold does think he's better than him, but maybe at the time he hadn't felt that way yet.
He hadn't reached a conclusion.
You seem like you're a douchebag, is what he says to me. You seem like you're a douchebag.
In front of people you were at the bar with.
Man, that would have been really tough for me to just like
let
keep
go.
it under control right there.
Yeah. And so right then I was like, I was also just like caught off guard by the comment too. I did not expect that. So, all right. So then we're going, I'm like, yeah, and I go, I don't even know who the hell you are. And then a little bit later, this is a silly conversation. He's like, yeah, I know the bar owner down the street, right? We can get free beer. He's talking to the three of us, free beer, we can go play pool. This is after he insulted me. Yeah, let's go play. Yeah, because I really want to go play pool with you, bro. After you
Hell
say
yeah,
that.
let's go.
Yeah.
You
And
seem like a great,
you said yes to
you
that
seem
invite?
like a great time, man.
And then finally, so I look at the two girls. I'm like, so are they wanting to go? And they didn't say anything. They didn't even answer. And then
Sure, because they're trying to not be.
So they're being very polite. They didn't tell this guy like, go, leave us alone. please.
No, they did not. And then so finally, he's like, he tells me, I climb trees for a living, is what he told me.
Is that a threat?
And acting like
Statement
he's
of fact?
like, I don't know what you do or whatever. So I respond, and this is where probably, he deserved the comment, but I'm like, yeah, I really don't. I can't. I was about to curse on there. I really don't.
You know what? Do it. Come on.
Nick can just hit the dump button. It's fine.
I really don't give a bleep what you do. I don't know who the hell you are. I go, it seems like you're the one acting like a douchebag. That's what I said back. And then he goes, oh, I'm the douchebag. And then his dad comes over. His dad
being there and his mom being there.
His dad.
His parents.
Which makes me think that they probably gave him a ride because
I don't know.
The
he
mom,
lives in the basement.
Gold told us off air that the mom was also trying to do some of the talking to the women for him, which seems bad.
Do you feel like any of those? Do you feel like did the mom have a pack of Marlboro Reds in her purse? Do you think?
I mean, it wouldn't, I'm not judging, but it wouldn't surprise me. So anyway, basically, that happens after that comment, and his dad comes over. At that point, I'm like, I kind of need to like diffuse the situation a little bit. All right,
de-escalate.
Yeah, and so I then just like I don't even know you, man. I don't really know who the hell you are. He's like, but you're calling me a douchebag. I go, you called me the douchebag.
Is he like standing up at this point?
No, he's sitting down.
He's not getting in your face or anything?
Good. No, he's not. He's still a little ways away. His dad's like hovering over the table at this time, though. And anyway, so finally the situation kind of calms down a little bit, and then he gets up, he takes his hat off, and he goes, "Nice spiked hair, bro. Douchebags wear watches, and I'm wearing an Apple Watch."
He's right.
The weirdest interaction I've had with anybody.
Yeah, it's tough.
One of the weirdest interactions I've ever had with anybody at a bar.
what does this guy look like? We now have a photo.
Clearly, just had an issue with me without me even ever saying two words.
No, here's what it is. Here's what it is. And I think I've been in this situation before years ago, which is that if you are with an attractive woman and a guy is drunk and decides that he wants to go and shoot his shot, and it's not
but
going
he wasn't
well,
talking to her. He was talking to her friend.
But he sees you guys sitting over there not saying anything, probably kind of cop vibes, because that's the thing. The second he came over, you were probably a little like, what is this dude doing?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
he caught
100%.
the vibe that you weren't digging him, which probably made him upset. Things weren't going well. He's got a little liquid courage, and he decides, you know what, let's make a scene. Because for some people,
he
for some
wanted
guys,
to fight Nick. He wanted. He was hoping that I was. Because if he says it to a different person, like I'm, that's not who I am. So like, if he would have said it to a different person, he would have ended up in a.
What's funny, Nick, is if you had reacted the way you were joking about earlier, that's more likely to get your ass kicked. You've been like, you know what? Actually, that sounds great. You seem like a great dude. That is more likely to get your ass kicked than like actually being kind of rude back.
Yeah, I probably would have.
Nick would have gotten in a fight.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think I would have. I think I would have probably said the second he called me a douchebag, I would have said, "You need to leave. Like you need to get away. Nobody asked you here. Nobody wants you here. Nobody's talking to you. You need to walk away." He probably would have gotten even more pissed at that point. Oh, you gonna make me? Because he's one of those guys.
Of course. Yes.
So Did the girl you were with
She liked how I handled it.
seem to appreciate?
She did. She complimented how I handled it. She was very impressed.
Wow,
so that
good
was
job.
good. So this guy, that was good. Thank you.
Do you think she would have liked it if you would have stood up and just knocked his ass out?
I don't know.
And
her
then you
well
said
enough
that's
to
for
know.
women everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what her reaction would have been. Yeah, I don't know what her reaction
Stay
would have been.
down.
Yeah, there would have been major problems if it got to that point anyway.
Like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse.
Somehow, despite the fact you have been in the least amount of fights out of anyone on this show, over the last 3 years of us doing the show together, you've been the closest to being in fights.
So here's what I'm wondering.
How does this keep happening?
Here's what I'm wondering. What details are you leaving out? So you clearly probably instigated this,
No,
right?
not at all. Not at all. Like I said, nobody at the table. The minute he tried to sit
picture
between,
this guy again.
The minute he tried to sit in between the girl I was out there with and her friend, obviously I wasn't thrilled by it, but I didn't say anything. And then finally, luckily, he ended up not sitting in between them anyway. Like that did not happen. But
is this his Angry Orchard? Is he drinking?
No, that's the cider. No, the cider is what the girl I was with.
I thought for a second, I was like, we got to discuss the fact that that's after all that. Because that would be an objectively hilarious drink to slam in between two people and say.
No, he had a pint.
It looks like he's got a big old mug of what looks to be a crisp Pilsner.
Yeah.
An American Pilsner, maybe a Bud Light.
But the fact that this guy had his dad, had his dad with him. Anyway, he's very fortunate that my mentality is usually to de-escalate situations, not the opposite end. Because there's plenty of people listening right now that would have beat the hell out of this guy.
He strikes me as the type of guy who would do everything that you already described to us, which is insert himself into a situation where he is not wanted or welcomed, is welcome, and then when things aren't going his way, resorting to inciting violence. Seems like the exact type of guy, based off the picture that you've sent.
Anyway, so
how long do you think the fight would have lasted? If you guys had to fight, how long would it have lasted?
I have no idea.
How many hits would
people would have broke? I think people would have broken up.
But there have been 2 hits.
I don't know.
You hitting him, and then
him hitting the floor. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe him hitting you.
I don't
and then
know.
you hitting 911, following a police report.
If you had had bigger people with you, do you think you would have been more inclined to instigate?
No, we wouldn't have said a damn thing.
He looks like a big boy. He looks like a kind of a little thick.
I don't know. Then pay. He based on him commenting on my hair and stuff, he was definitely looking at me more throughout the last 2 hours than I ever paid attention to him for some odd reason. So I don't know. That guy clearly has some issue with me.
Didn't you say earlier he was waiting outside of the bar for you afterwards?
Oh, well, then after he left, he was outside the bar for a little while because somebody came up and said, hey, by the way, homeboy's still out there. Somebody said.
He's waiting for you. Wow, what a loser.
Oh, yeah. The guy,
what an absolute
I was all
loser.
in this. I was all in this guy.
Sucks.
Going to a bar with your parents, hitting on chicks, having them step in.
I was all
trying
in
to
this
start a
guy's
fight.
head clearly throughout much of the night.
Started a fight with the only guy who's never been in a fight in his life. Hey, you're that guy. I'm going to fight you. You're like, I didn't do anything.
Simply because you were standing next to women.
And because he was wearing a watch.
Someone says, put his pic on Twitter. I'm not going to do that, even though he's an a-hole, but I'm not going to do that.
I also wouldn't describe your hair as spiky.
It's also not
I feel like
spiked.
he could have done a better job
Not
describing your hair if he was going to insult it.
The watch is an Apple Watch. It's just a watch.
I love that too, by the way. Like 50% of the population wears watches, and he's like, douchebags wear watches.
Oh, man.
If you felt different if he said smart watches versus like a regular one, you think you should have like a real watch?
Here's the thing,
is he like 16 years old? You know what I mean?
Know.
This guy was like 27, I think, based on what they were saying. And overall, the whole thing was just so bizarre, guys.
What do you think his name was?
I don't think I got the
No,
name.
but just based off. Okay, I'm gonna guess his name based off of this picture. Kind of looks like a Steve.
No.
Brent. Oh, Brett. He's a Brett.
Brett.
He's
That's much better.
He's definitely a Brett.
Just took you a second to get there.
And
Brett's probably good.
And
Brett,
I'm sorry
Todd.
and I'm sorry. Yeah, somebody in the text line said, "I'm sorry for anyone who's listening whose name is Brett. This is not an indictment against all Bretts. This guy just looks like a Brett. Maybe a Keith.
Brett feels stronger than Keith.
Keith's a little bit older.
I was with you on Steve. I don't think Steve is way crazy. Maybe
Trent.
Someone says he sounds like a Nick.
How
Yep, there it is.
Real
there
Nick.
it is. It sounds like a Nick.
See, what's funny about this is I seem to get this reputation for being someone who starts fights, and I'm just not. Like, I don't. I usually diffuse situations. I haven't been in a fight since I was, 19.
But have you been in areas that other people got in fights because of the words you said?
No. The only 2 times I've ever been into a fight was when I was sort of like, some of our friends were having a house party, and this dude broke a window, and we were trying to get him out, and he was drunk and obnoxious, and then was just kind of trying to fight everybody. That was it. And then the other time, I got confused for someone else and got knocked out by a door guy. Like complete accident. He thought I was someone. Like this girl was like getting into a fight with her boyfriend.
You could have sued his ass, by the way.
I got knocked out. So I woke up on the ground and my friends are like, "Hey man, we got to get out of here." I go, "What happened?"
Yeah, but there's video of that. You could.
The door guy just walked up to you and punched you in the face. I go, "What did I do?"
Yeah,
we were walking to our car.
That guy is very fortunate.
Like, did I do something?
He goes, "No, they thought that girl's like arguing with her boyfriend, and she thought you were the boyfriend."
Oh.
Someone says, F you. My name's Brett. It doesn't sound like a Brett.
Oh, no. Sorry. This guy's spelling it with one T. This guy looks like, the guy in the picture looks like a 2T Brett.
So is it for sure Brian? I don't know. Anyway, that was one of the more bizarre interactions I had. It was just so random. Saturday night.
Okay, so here, really, we're kind of burying the lead here.
Alex went on a date during football playoff time.
TV was on, thank goodness.
So he went on a date when there was NFL playoff football.
Will there be a second date? Sounds like you're streamlining for a second date.
Yeah, we're going to hang out. We haven't got to details.
Yep. Things are getting hot and heavy.
Because of a third date?
Second date.
Well, I don't know. That first one was like an hour and a half.
No, that's where they met. That doesn't count.
Yeah,
that doesn't count as a
Friday
date.
night doesn't count. Friday night does not count.
Dates are planned. Meeting someone is not a date.
That's correct.
Does it count if it's a date, if it's like with a group?
No, I think it's a perfect first date because there's less pressure on you to like carry the conversation and stuff. That's why doing stuff with groups, first date, little life hack there. Second date, though, probably going to have to do one-on-one.
Obviously. That's the plan.
Hell yeah. Can we come? Where will it be? Well, where will it be and when?
The same bar as Saturday, I think. We'll just go back there. The same bar.
This time you'll have backup.
And if the guy is there this time, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's make the second date a double date, but Nick and I are there together. Like, I don't bring my wife, and Nick doesn't bring Lindsay.
And the listeners. You got a whole posse. Good luck.
And we'll go back to that bar on a Saturday night, because if he went there with his parents, that's their spot. We can agree, right, that that's that guy's spot?
Was I supposed
that
to be
is the bar he will be at again this Saturday?
You know what? I think they were saying, though, he's not. I don't think he's from there. Like, I don't think he's even from around here.
Well, hell did he end up there?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I didn't talk to him. I only heard secondhand conversation stuff.
How far away was he from you?
Yeah, like, how big is this bar?
Yeah, like,
far away
wasn't he just like a few feet away from you?
Well, you saw where the photo was, or the photo I showed you guys, like, over was us, to the left.
Oh, so you're on the same side as him.
Yeah.
Is that how? But you said he kept walking away. Did he get further away than
to
that?
The bar. So, like, it's a small bar. So, like, we were at a table, bar. Like, the bar was probably from here to where Nick is at. I mean, it was not that.
Oh, okay.
If that. Like,
if he would have approached you, would you have smashed a bottle on his head?
No.
What would your first move have been if he had thrown a punch?
Come on.
If he had thrown a punch,
He had thrown a
I would
punch
back.
Fetal position?
Maybe push at first. Maybe push at first. But no, that's not.
Play dead. Yeah. Just like a possum.
You want to go for the nose. Because if you can break the nose, his eyes are going to start watering. He's not going to be able to see. Then you try to kick the inside of the knee, so you kind of take him out from the legs down. At that point, you got him right where you want him.
He climbs trees, though, Nick. I mean, he climbs trees, you know?
Like,
and then you go for the jugular, man.
I wouldn't have liked your odds in that fight, but, you know, I don't rule out anything. You probably had reach.
By the way, I want to change my pick from Brett. Somebody on the text line suggested this. Probably a Jesse. He's definitely a Jesse. That guy is 100% named Jesse.
Doubt it.
No, because Jesse requires an IE at the end of the name, and he was never going to do that. He was never going to be an IE Jesse.
Okay, you guys clearly didn't go to any school with many Jessies, and they all look like this guy.
I think maybe Troy.
Ooh, Troy, Trent.
Dude, I know a Troy, and he's not that thin. Like, I do know other are like that.
Troy's not bad. Come on.
Maybe it could be Cody too. Could be a Cody.
Cody?
Could be a Cody. Could have been a Cody.
Dude, honestly,
silly of a name.
Cody with a K.
There's no tough guy named Cody. It's not a tough guy name. Not a guy who tries to start fights.
But this guy is not a tough guy.
But he's
clearly.
a pretend tough guy.
Yeah.
Which is what a Troy is. That's I wouldn't want to do that.
I climb trees, you know? Like, he really, when that one came off the tongue, he thought he thought he was going to bury you with that one.
Could you imagine if Alex was responsible, like, well, I talk on the radio. Like, it was like he's coming back.
I guess we're just having conversations about our careers.
That would have been funny as well. I was more just.
But again, it's hard to describe. But if you've ever been in that situation, the worst way to de-escalate it is to not take them serious. Is to be like,
the final
yuck
word.
it up. Oh, we're having a joke about our job. That never de-escalates. It only makes it worse.
Oh, you climb tree. That's awesome, man.
I climb trees, too.
You ever find anything cool up there? Bird's nest?
He's mocking.
Oh, man. Let's take barbershop on the next one. Have barbershop in the corner.
You think barbershop's got your back?
Absolutely. He's going to pay me $25 when he loses his bet tonight,
I don't know if Barbershop's a fighter, but he's a former professional athlete, so I don't think anyone's starting a fight when he is in close proximity.
Anyway.
No matter who starts it, Barber's going to finish it.
Oh! We sure about that? Barber's not a fighter, man. Barber's a lover.
Bink already texted me and said, I wish I was there, man. Bink already backing me up, you know?
Yeah, Bink on one shoulder, Barber on the other.
It's over. Game over. All right, we're back at it tomorrow from 10 to 2. The Drive coming up next.
This is Cody and Gold.